And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining. You could be almost anywhere in the world. If you're not locked down, still in your state. If you're not quarantining, still in your state, your city, wherever you live. But you're right here with me, and I most certainly appreciate y'all for that. Thank y'all for joining. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the channel, please give the video a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a share. And a lot of y'all are not subscribed, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. I thank y'all for doing that for me. We got a whole lot going on tonight. Major League Soccer, pretty much every major sports league in the nation is kneeling for BLM. You got one guy from Major League Soccer, crying, talking about, oh, well, they're stupid. Why can't they respect us? It's like, look, man, you don't understand what's going on. You live in your own little world up there and kind of an ivory tower. You're not down here with the regular everyday people really seeing what's going on. So you just got to get with it. Also, mail-in voting. They're trying to suppress that video on YouTube. It's pretty interesting how that works. They did the same thing for the last one. But mail-in voting is not what you want. Not universal mail-in voting. People trying to conflate universal mail-in voting with absentee voting. Not the same thing at all. Also, Yale saying, hey, if you're white, you're Asian, get to the back of the line, get to the back of the bus. We'll talk about all that and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And again, thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate y'all. You could be almost anywhere, but you're right here live with me. We'll talk about all of that, and also Dolly Parton, and trying to smear Dolly Parton, talking about she's a BLM supporter, and, she's not. Listen, the media are crazy. The left media, the leftist politicians, they're all ridiculous. They're all crazy. Okay, let's talk about, I think I'm going to talk about Yale. I'm going to talk about Yale first, and then I'm going to get into Dolly and whatnot. And if you guys have anything you want me to discuss that I've not discussed thus far, let me know in the chat. I read it occasionally. Now, Yale is being accused of the same thing that Harvard got accused of back in 2019, last year. Now, there was a class action lawsuit against Harvard from a group of Asian students saying that they were discriminated against in favor of blacks and Hispanics. Now, when you get into these Ivy League schools, and I'm not sure why you want to go to an Ivy League school at this particular point in time. I mean, unless you want to be a brain surgeon or something like that, some type of, intensive field or some like really high level person, there's no reason to go to Harvard or Yale. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not really a pro college person. I went to a 2-year college and graduated. And then I went to a 4-year for 1 year and I left. I was like, man, it kind of got scammy. You understand what I'm saying? But that's a whole different story. I won't go down that road right now, so I digress. My whole point is that I'm not a big fan of college. But if you're going to go to college, I don't really see the purpose of spending so much money that you don't have to the point where you get a house note on your back and you don't have any kind of skill or job outlook, job prospects that would justify having that amount of money on your back. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to be out there doing this whole, if you're going to be out there with this big amount of money on your back, at least get, at least get a big job to go with it. At least get something that makes sense to go along with it. Okay. So now, speaking about Yale, the DOJ, so it's not just me saying it. It's not just a lawsuit or nothing like that. The DOJ says that they discriminate against whites and Asians. But going back to Harvard right quick, because I kind of got off the track there. Asian students were saying, hey, Harvard, you guys are discriminating against us. Blacks and Hispanics are getting in more than we are. And what they would do to Asian students in Harvard, and it's probably the same thing in Yale and Dartmouth as well, and other schools, maybe even lower than higher education, maybe like private school, K through 12. But anyway, there are certain factors they try to judge you on to get into the school aside from your academics. They judge you on personality, and Asian students always scored very low in personality department. Maybe it wasn't always, but it was more often than it should be. You understand what I'm saying? So when they would score very low in this department, what it ended up happening is that they kind of see a pattern. It's like, wait a minute, my grades are great. Everything about me is great. I don't have any kind of behavioral problems from my school, from my, from where I went, my high school or anything. So why am I getting why are Asian students always getting this very low score? And it's one particular part of the admission. Are all Asian students just bad and they can't get along with anybody? That's not the case. You don't really hear about Asian students just, snapping us up for Virginia Tech, but that's like a super rare occurrence. It never really happens. They're pretty just chill. They're really about just the academics, And when I say Asian, I don't just mean Chinese or Japanese or Korean. I'm talking about East India Asians as well. The red dye Indian, no disrespect. I'm just saying, Kamala Harris is what I'm talking about. Okay. So anyway, Asian students, white students, they are quote unquote, overrepresented in college. What does it even really mean? Overrepresented? If they are performing well, they got good grades, they're very intelligent, they're very studious, then what's the problem? Let them come on in. Blacks and Hispanic students will have a similar academic performance as the Asian student, but they're much more likely to get in. I think what I was reading, they said that an Asian student is 1/4 to 1/10 as likely to get into school with similar academic performance than a black or Hispanic student because of the racial component. Okay, so Yale was saying, the DOJ was saying that Yale used race to discriminate against white and Asian students. That's facts. And it was the same thing over in Harvard as far as that lawsuit. Now, I think the lawsuit in Harvard is still kind of in the works. It's still kind of, going through the court system. I think a judge may have ruled against it. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's still going on right now as we speak. And you're going to see a lot more of this stuff happen. It's pretty clear what's going on. They're trying to have quote unquote diversity. One thing about the Supreme Court, they said that you can use race as a determinant not as a determinant fact. We'll talk about that in a minute. You can use race in the application and admission process, but it must be narrowly defined or something like that. It's a real key phrase they wanted to use. But it shouldn't be there at all. The race should not be a factor. You should not even put your race on your application. That shouldn't even really be a thing. All right. Whoever the best students are should get into the school. If you have any kind of behavioral problems, that's a different story. If you're getting recommendations from your teachers and they're not saying anything about behavioral problems and you get into the school, then what's the big deal? Okay. And the craziest part about it is that these kids are getting admitted. A lot of times the black and Hispanic kids, they're getting admitted to a school where they really probably shouldn't be. You may, like I was saying in my video, you may have the smartest kid from a black, let's say Atlanta, right? You're the smartest black kid in Atlanta, or in your particular area, like East Side or something like that. You're the smartest kid out there. You got a 5.0 GPA. You're the valedictorian. You are like a celebrity in high school, voted likely to succeed, the homecoming king, all this, that, and the third, right? You think you're going to go and apply everywhere and go to the best place that accepts you. You apply to Yale, Harvard, Dartmouth, all different colleges, and you get, and Yale accepts you. So, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to Yale. That's the best school I can go to, this, that, and the third. And you get there and you perform poorly. You don't perform as well. When you were in high school, in middle school, elementary school, things were pretty much easy. You're able to get straight A's and you never really had a problem. You enjoyed school, but now it's a little bit different. Now you're kind of like at the bottom of your class and you're working hard. You're not just effortless, and you were not effortless in high school. You worked pretty hard all throughout, but your same level of effort, it's not getting you the results you thought it would. So you're just like, well, what's going on here? I thought that I was like top of my class. Are they racist here at Yale? And then you run into some Colin Kaepernick looking dude in a dashiki with an afro picked out all the way to like 8 feet. You understand what I'm saying? With an afro pick, talking about Black Lives Matter every 5 minutes. You run into him on campus. He's like a guidance counselor or something like that. And you start talking to him, asking him questions, and he's talking about, well, it's a white patriarchal structure and a cisgender. Now you get all of that type of talk going on. So now, rather than being just a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, smart kid coming from the A to Yale, going to be a brain surgeon or something like that, you become kind of jaded. You become kind of upset. You become radicalized. And before you know it, you got a BLM screecher on your hands. You got a person that's out there pretty much just saying, hey, I hate white people, all of that. That's what you have. You have a radicalized person simply because they were told certain things that aren't necessarily true, that are really just false. Not necessarily true, but just straight up false about race and whatnot, all because you were put into a situation that was not best suited for you. You should go to still a good school that'll service you well, but not to something that is out of your league. And then on top of that, you got this big debt on your back. So you went to this school and you spending a bunch of money. If you have no scholarship, you're spending a bunch of money. You become angry, you become jaded, disillusioned, and once you graduate, you pretty much have been destroyed. You pretty much been ruined. You got sent to a re-education center like they got in China. But the worst part about it is that you had to pay for it. You paid for your own destruction. And you got a whole mortgage on your back with no real skill and anger as a result. It's crazy. So yeah, the DOJ is talking about how Yale is discriminating against students. I feel like they'll see a lot more of this. And I think the ultimate goal here should be for the Supreme Court to remove the ability of colleges to even consider race. I mean, if you want to live in a post-racist society, we got to get rid of these race-based laws, regardless of who it helps or it's supposed to help. They say it's going to help black folks, all this, that, and the third, but I can't really tell what's going on. Okay, I cannot really tell. Yeah, if it's going to help Black and Hispanics, it doesn't even really matter. If it's racist, it's racist. If it's race-based, then it's race-based. I don't want to have any of it at all. So I think that's what the whole thing should be about, not about anything else. It should be a pure meritocracy. That's it. Now, you do have a situation about, people that, what they call it, legacy admissions and, athletes and stuff like that. That's a different story. But just coming into the school based on academics, to go there and actually be serious, you should go to where you're best suited to have the best outcome. That's pretty much how I look at it. If you're coming in on a legacy or, like let's say you're Dr. Dre's daughter, he gave USC like $200 million, some kind of crazy like that, and the daughter goes to the school now. It's like, okay, yeah, of course she goes to the school because her dad got a bunch of money. It doesn't really matter if she succeeds or not in the school to a high level because her dad has money, so she can pretty much go do something else without. She's going to college just kind of for the experience and the network. In my humble opinion, that was my best thing I got from college was meeting people and networking. The education was kind of like subpar. All I needed from college was how to use certain like what I use right now, like the Adobe Premiere Pro, Photoshop. I learned that in college. That's what I got mostly from my education point of view. But everything else, what I know about politics and whatnot, I learned it on my own. I just read. That's it. You could find a lot of these things you learn in the college campus in the book, and you don't have to have, you have textbooks. You could just read the textbook. That's what I did. I used to just read all the time, and I still do read all the time. That's how I learn stuff. And if I don't know about a thing, I'll ask it. I don't need to pay some guy $1 trillion to teach me basic information. Now, if I want to be a doctor or some kind of complex field like that, then I might need to go to college and get some education. But aside from that, I don't need it at all. So again, thank y'all for being here. Most certainly appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me your thumbs up. Share the video, like the video, do all that good stuff. Yeah, hey, carpentry work. Yes, it's a lot of stuff you can do out here. People need to kind of like open their mind. A lot of people don't really understand the way that this country works. It's not just, go to college, get a job. You can do that if you want to. That's just one avenue upon which you can be somebody here in America. You could be, a self proprietor, small business. You can do just like freelance work, carpentry, electricians. You got to make a lot of money, and they don't need that much education to do it. As far as like a high level, like a high amount of money spent on education. You can do a lot of different things in this country. But you got to be having your mind open, and rather than being kind of like brainwashed to this whole thing about you got to go to college. That's not necessarily the way you have to be. Hold on. Shout out to Shay Ratnerson, who says, as my dad always said, Some people are lawyers, some people are plumbers. Go get tools. Go get my tools, son. I'm going to teach you some skills. There you go. Exactly. That is what it is. Yeah. And you know what? I did go to college for a while, but I never was involved in the college life. I was always in the street working and hustling, doing my thing. Never nothing illegal, but I was always just trying to figure out a way to make money since I was like high school, 17, 18, 19. I wasn't really concerned about going to Greek parties. I didn't care. I was like really laser focused on never going back to the hood again in my life. So I didn't care about, trying to party. That wasn't even my thought process at all. Same thing here, CEO HHR. I worked throughout my entire college. Yes, I did. I worked at Old Country Buffet from when I was a senior in high school up until I left college. Yep. Somebody says, why do I promote negativity? Well, what do you mean? I'm not sure you got to be more specific. I think I'm a positive person. What I like to do is debunk the mainstream media narrative. That's a great segue, sir, ma'am, sir, whatever your gender pronouns are, into Dolly Parton. Now, I'm out here right now in East Tennessee. Okay, I'm about an hour from Dollywood, about an hour and a half from Dollywood right now. And people out here idolize Dolly Parton, not in a, strange way, but in a way that she deserves, because she's done so much for Tennessee. It's ridiculous. Not just Tennessee, but the world in general, but definitely Tennessee, especially East Tennessee, where she's from. Now, before I talk about, what she has done and why everybody loves Dolly Parton out here and throughout the country as well, I talk about what the media tried to do to Dolly Parton. Now, they tried to say that Dolly Parton is a Black Lives Matter supporter. I'm talking about every media outlet, even Fox, every headline, Dolly Parton supports Black Lives Matter. Dolly Parton says, of course, Black Lives Matter. They were trying to highlight that and make her say a thing that she did not really say. Yes, she said that Black Lives Matter, but she didn't only say that. It wasn't the end of it. She said, of course, Black Lives Matter. Everybody matters. That's the same thing as somebody saying, yeah, Black Lives Matter, white lives matter, all lives matter. That's what she said. Now, if you are hearing anything from BLM people, they don't like when you say all lives matter. Why? Because they feel like all lives don't matter until Black Lives Matter. That's their whole thing. They're only about, they got to focus on Black lives. And they're racist, really. They're only caring about Black lives. At least they say they care about Black lives, because I'm not sure if they really mean that, because how many Black folks ain't got shot and killed at Black Lives Matter rallies? But different story. I digress. My whole point is that they're laser focused on Black lives, right? Now, when Dolly Parton says everybody matters, that's the same thing as saying all lives matter. So just from her own words, what she said, they're wrong about Dolly Parton being a Black Lives Matter supporter, right? Now, I talk about Dolly Parton's history. Dolly Parton is 74 years old, never been political, not a political person. She has come out and said that she is explicitly not political. She's not trying to get into that. She's just trying to, just be a kind person, just trying to be an entertainer, and also a humanitarian, a philanthropist, a real philanthropist, okay? These numbnuts out here talking about, oh, we do X, Y, and Z, have done like not even a fraction of what Dolly Parton does. Now, Dolly Parton has the Dollywood Foundation, and a big part of that is the Imagination Library. Now, this library gives out free books to kids, been doing it for years. We're talking about decades, giving out millions of free books to kids. She promotes childhood literacy, because in East Tennessee, you got some real poverty. And I'm talking about mostly poor whites, people that are forgotten about totally. When you talk about poverty in this country, they want to focus on the Black community, maybe some Hispanics, illegal aliens or something like that. Not even Hispanics that are doing well, they got businesses and whatnot. Not even them. They're talking about illegal aliens coming across the border. Oh, they're poor, they're looking for a better life. They focus on them, and then to a certain extent, Black folks, but never the poor whites. Maybe sometimes the Native Americans, but they get forgotten about too. But the poor whites totally get ignored. They talk about white privilege. Meanwhile, you got some white folks, like I was saying before. I've seen elderly white women now, elderly, I'm talking like 80 years old, 5 foot tall, head full of gray hair, digging in trash to get something to eat, man. And like right now in 2020, you got white folks right now living with no running water, no electricity, and it gets cold in the mountains. Like, people live differently than what the media says they live. Okay, the news guys on TV, they live real nice in LA, nice cushy apartment. They're talking about, oh, white privilege is a thing, we gotta end it. Meanwhile, they're talking to people living in the mountains somewhere in Tennessee, North Carolina, Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, somewhere like that. Tennessee, of course, North Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. They're talking to them like they're living the same as them. And they in some broke down trailer, no utilities, no nothing. I saw one documentary about West Virginia, and they were so poor, like the guy had to go out by the road, and the way the roads are in West Virginia, everything's cut through the mountain. So when it's cut through the mountain like that, you can get some exposed coal on the side of the road, just right there, just chilling. So the kid would go with a pick and go to the road and pick off some coal to bring it back to the trailer to heat up the trailer. So you're talking about like no utilities or nothing, and you living in a trailer single wide with like 6 adults. I've seen that in real life, white people. So Dolly Parton has done a lot of things for those people specifically. So to say that, oh, she's a Black Lives Matter supporter, please. It's not even really Dolly Parton is seen as like the queen of Tennessee and really the queen of Appalachia in general. You guys know I'm born in West Virginia. All my family's from West Virginia, both sides of my family, and they go back all the way to the ship. You understand what I'm saying? And then I got Irish people that came to West Virginia as well, and my family. And right now I live in Tennessee, raised in Virginia. I got family all up and down in Appalachia. I know what it is. All right. She's the queen of Appalachia, for real. So for the media trying to smear her, it's ridiculous, but you know what? That's what the media does. That's why I'm here. So to whoever was saying that I push negativity, no, I'm just bringing you the truth because the media doesn't want you to hear it. They want you to hear whatever they want you to hear. They'll tell you anything. They got the whole country gripped in fear over this virus situation. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, you can't go outside. Remember back in March where they said 15 days, slow the spread, flatten the curve. But it's August 15th. And they're talking about we can't have an in-person election in November because it's going to be too dangerous. So they want to prolong this thing for how long? A year, 2 years, forever? We can't even go back outside without a mask on? See, I'm here to bring just actual information, real information. And there's a lot of us out here doing the same thing. And I think people are realizing this because you turn on the TV to any station almost, and they're giving you just straight nonsense, just bogus information, totally bogus. And that's why I have that website, my website too, by the way, anthonyblogan.com, because it doesn't matter if YouTube wants to suppress me or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any social media platform. It doesn't matter because I got my website. What you gonna do about that? It's right there. That's mine, but you can't take it away. You know, if you take that away, now we got a serious problem. You can have all types of illicit stuff online on websites. It's totally, you can access it right now if you wanted to. So you can't take my website down. If you want to take my website down, take down some of that, you know, that filthy material that shouldn't be out there. Some of that human traffic could go, take that down too. If you're going to start taking websites down, take that stuff down. Don't take my website down. I have no threats of my website going down at all. I'm good money. Right? So this whole thing with the virus, it could be over with pretty soon, but you know what? They don't want to engage in anything that actually help this thing go away. You know, a certain drugs you could take, hydroxychloroquine. Everybody knows you could take that and it's fine. You could take that drug over the counter in India, in Iran, Indonesia. It's like Tylenol in those particular countries, and it's safe. Ask yourself this: if you are a skeptic of hydroxychloroquine, ask yourself this: how does India not have this big virus outbreak, huh? You got, what, 1.2, 1.3 billion people in the subcontinent of India, right? How was it no big virus outbreak there? If it is, let me know in the comments, but I've not heard about, New Delhi or something like that just being on lockdown and everybody, I've not heard about that. You got these slums where everybody's packed like sardines. And I'm talking about for real, low ceilings, 5 foot tall. How you going to be socially distanced in the slum of 5 million people? A slum, like I'm talking like everybody's packed like this. How you going to distance in that particular? The living quarters are not distanced. Like if you're in your house right now, you could distance, right? Or even in an apartment. If you got a small apartment in the States, even if the apartments are like beside each other, you could distance. But in the slums in India, you cannot do that because your living quarters are directly next to everybody else. You cannot distance in that particular environment. So have you heard about any kind of outbreak in India? Ask yourself why you've not heard about outbreak. And it should be one. Geographically speaking, it's right next to China. It's right there. You got Bhutan and Nepal at the north, and then Tibet, and then China. And really, there's a part of China that's like Xinjiang. That's like right there close to India, to the northern part of India, close to Pakistan and Afghanistan. It's like right there. That's where all the Uyghurs and stuff come from, right close to North India. So why is there no outbreak there? It's an outbreak in India from Chinese people, but closer to China, there's no outbreak. It's because they're already on hydroxychloroquine. It's already on their counter. You can get it like Tylenol. Same thing with Africa. Do you understand how many Chinese are in Africa right now? You have at least 400,000 Chinese in Angola, Africa right now. And Angola is not really a big country populace-wise. It's a big country geographically, but most of it is desert. You got Luanda and like one other big city in Angola, but 400,000 Chinese at least. It's probably more than that right now. Okay. Why no outbreak in Africa? Because they already have prophylaxis due to malaria and taking hydroxychloroquine already to prevent malaria and to, cure or get past or treat malaria. So they're already taking that. So it's like a natural, defense mechanism against the virus coming in. It's simple. Over here, we don't have that. We don't have malaria and stuff like that. So we don't have any kind of reason to take it unless you have lupus or something like that. That's why Africa is not being inundated with the virus. And that's why it's the same thing with India. We thought, it's hot in Africa. That's why they don't have it. Well, it's hot here too. It's 105 degrees right now. And somewhere in the States, Atlanta, Miami, somewhere, Florida got the biggest case rate. It's real hot and humid in Florida. I've been to Miami. You talking about humidity. You can't even breathe. But yet they still got the virus. How did that happen? Because they don't have the necessary treatment to be able to deal with it in a widespread way, the way it is over in Africa and India and other parts of the world. It's real simple. But we're going to focus on one study that was done over here in the States that was done in a flawed way that wasn't even giving you the right dose of the drug or all the drugs needed to be able to combat it. So I'm here to give you the real information about what's going on in the world rather than the mainstream media. They give you whatever their sponsor wants you to hear. Okay. They're giving you product placement in their news. They're giving you product placement as news. That's what's going on with that. But I'll leave that right there. So thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up. And also, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe right now. This podcast or this show will be available as an audio only podcast through the link in the description box. So subscribe right there or just search for me on your favorite platform. Search for me on Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor. Search ABL Live. I should come right on up. It should be like a little red design. Subscribe to that. This video will be posted up as audio only on Monday morning. And then the Wednesday one goes up Friday morning. I'm trying to do 8 a.m. right now, so you guys go to work, whatever, you got something for work and for the commute or whatever you got going on. All right. Yeah, half the entire world, you're right about that, Jason. Half the entire world is in Africa and India, correct. Also, like Southeast Asia. Why am I not hearing about a big outbreak in Cambodia, Laos, what else? Myanmar, Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia? Why? Japan got it a little bit, but like Korea, what's going on? Like, what's really happening? What I want people to do is not just have this U.S.-centric view of the world when it comes to things like this. Look at the whole world and see what they're doing, see what they got going on, because, this is the best country on planet Earth. Don't get it twisted, right here in America. But sometimes we don't do things better than other countries. They say they got a vaccine in Russia. I mean, do you doubt it because it's Russia or because you just skeptical about a vaccine in general. They could have it. I don't know. They might. It might work. I mean, there's already some people that don't have it in other parts of the world that probably should have it. Maybe they're doing something right that we're not doing. And if they say they got a vaccine in Russia, look at their infection rates and the death rates and stuff like that and see what's going on. Look at some real numbers. If you can get real numbers. I know one thing, though. You cannot get real information from China. They'll tell you anything talking about, oh, we only had 3,500 deaths, please. In China, like China is so bad. They're serving fake food, fake alcohol, fake oil, fake meat, fake rice, fake everything. They probably sell you fake water if they could. And if they do, I wouldn't be surprised. So that country with all the problems with environmental problems and food standards and, quality and construction, they only had 3,500 deaths. Really? Okay. And they got how many people? 1.3 billion people in the country? Be for real. Wuhan and like the Hubei province has 60 million people. At least 60 million people. That's like California plus Virginia put together in one little area of China. And they got that many deaths? 3,500? Please, come on, be for real. If New York City had, 35,000 deaths? How does China only have 3,500 and the entire country of 1.3 billion? It don't make no sense. All right. And you guys, last time I had a caller, and shout out to the caller. I forget your name, but you were a great caller asking me about Epoch Times. I did my Googles. I did my research about Epoch Times in China. Oh man, it was a crazy rabbit hole. I had to get, I had to rappel down with the rope and the hook on top. I had a whole team watching me just to make sure I was straight. I had a walkie-talkie. I was telling them, hey, I'm good, like every 15 minutes. But anyway, I'm down a rabbit hole, right? I'm descending down a rabbit hole. I found out so much about Epoch Times and NTD and all these organizations, and a lot about propaganda as well. It's a lot of propaganda out there. We forgot about propaganda. That's still a real thing. That was like the wave, kind of like back in the Cold War days, but now propaganda is much more sophisticated. You got technology, you got fake pictures of people's faces out there. You got all kind of things that are going on. You have sometimes legitimate news that is infested with propaganda, and they don't even really know what's going on. Okay, it's crazy. So Epoch Times, what I found out about Epoch Times is that they're run by Falun Gong, and what else? Epoch Times, NTD, that's called New Tang Dynasty. That's also Chinese. So Epoch Times is Chinese, NTD is Chinese. All these organizations I don't trust too much. They could give you some real news, of course, but ultimately they'll give you some other things you might not necessarily want. That's kind of what's going on. It's kind of a trade-off. It's like you get some real news, but you'll also get some Falun Gong commercials and also some things about just how the Chinese Communist Party is attacking Falun Gong for organs and stuff like that. But it might not be about the organs. It might just be about, a control thing between Xi Jinping and a leader of Falun Gong. It's a war between the two of them, and they're using us as a proxy upon which to fight the war. That's kind of what I found out about Epoch Times. And I kind of figured that might be the case because, like I was saying in the previous live video, when I was at Black Voices for Trump and we were leaving, this is in the convention center in Atlanta, right across from the CNN building. No, the building they kind of like tore down, BLM. They didn't tear it down, but they kind of like rioted, tore some stuff up. But right across from there, before that whole thing happened, they had Black Voices for Trump. And Trump was there. He spoke. Herman Cain was there. May he rest in peace. As we're leaving, we're still inside the venue, but we're not close to the door yet. So as we're leaving, going through the hallways and whatnot, you had two random Chinese people just in the hallway. They approach us with newspapers talking about Epoch Times, Trump read paper. I'm like, what? In my mind, I'm like, why am I being handed a paper by some Chinese people? Like, what is this? And why they give me the Epoch Times? Like, is it a Chinese company? I didn't know at the time it was a Chinese company, but yes, it is. And they were not like, first generation immigrants. They were straight from China like yesterday. barely spoke any English at all. You could tell they were living in China probably about 6 months ago and came over here to do that. So it was crazy, man. They're kind of like Jehovah's Witnesses, but maybe a little bit more of some other stuff. I'm not sure if they're really harmful, but the kind of vibe I was getting was kind of culty. That's kind of what it was. So it is what it is. All I know is that Epoch Times is run by Chinese people, most of whom have fled China because they're part of Falun Gong. And there's also a lot of other news outlets that are kind of like not really real. They're real, but they're not what you might think. You might not know that NTD stands for New Tang Dynasty and it's Chinese. You might not know that. I didn't know that. So it is what it is. Does Larry Elder know? I don't know. He might know. I think that you do have real info over there, but it's also going to tell you about Falun Gong and how it's good to meditate and stuff like that. You'll get that with them too. This is kind of how it is. So it's a trade-off. But my thing is that they're not really open with it. They're not really transparent. If they were transparent, it wouldn't be as bad. But it'd kind of be hard to sell a Chinese newspaper to American conservatives as a real place of information. You understand what I'm saying? Although they might be legitimate as far as news, they do have the other component to it. And there's a big complex up there in New York. If I could find it, I'll put it on the screen. But the leader of Falun Gong, it's this big, crazy complex. Hold on. I'm gonna try to find it right now. But yeah, that was a crazy rabbit hole I went down. Oh, here it is. Just so you guys will understand kind of like what I was able to find. I'm gonna put it on the screen right now. And it's so big that it's gonna be kind of hard for me to really put it all on screen. I might just show it to you in bits and pieces. Okay, this is probably the best way to go about it. So this is some of it right here. Again, this is New York, not China. This is New York, somewhere way upstate. And they built this for Falun Gong. And they said everything's like really traditional. That there's barely a screw or metal joint to be found. So yeah, this right here. Hold on, let me get the pagoda in there. This is where Epoch Times originates. Believe it or not. So it's just a matter of, do you want to trust Chinese news or news that is run by Chinese people in America? It is what it is. So shout out to them. American thought leaders. Well, hopefully the American thought leaders are American thought leaders. If they are, then that's fine. But you got to understand, I think it's good to understand who's behind the news that you're watching. Like, imagine if I were backed by some Chinese company. That might be kind of important to know, right? And just so you know, I'm not. It's just me doing my own thing. I don't have any kind of deals with anybody. I'm not part of a multi-channel network. I'm just me by myself really doing this. All right. All right. So thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. Hey, AB 015, I did find Lao Y86. I was watching him. Yes, I was watching him. Hold on. What's that? AI or AL? I've seen you before. I don't know how to pronounce your name, or I'm not sure what the character there is. It says, you are wrong. The paper is banned in China. Well, yeah, I know that. Like, Epoch Times is banned in China, but the people that run it are Chinese. You see what I'm saying? TikTok is banned in China too, but China created TikTok. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of, what do you trust? How do you trust them? How much do you trust them? And what do you know about them? TikTok is banned in China. They have their own version called Douyin, but Douyin is not TikTok. You cannot find the same people that are on TikTok on Douyin. It's two different things. Although it's the same thing, it's two different things, if that makes any sense. Like, TikTok is a clone of Douyin, or the other way around. But they're not one and the same. They're not the same person. It's two different people, if they were people. Okay, Thomas says, hold on. Thomas asked me, what do I say to people who think I'm an Uncle Tom? Well, I'll be like, well, thank you. Uncle Tom was the hero. He was a hero in the book. He was the one that would not tell on other slaves and whatnot. They're talking about Sambo. And really, when you say that, all they do is just flip it. They probably been saying Uncle Tom for 35 years of their life to somebody like me. And then when I educate them, they don't really just have any kind of humility like, oh, man, thank you for, telling me. They don't really care. All they're doing is just attacking me because I think differently than they are, than they do. And it's pretty silly for them to do that. But, I mean, what are you really going to do? I really don't care too much. Epoch Times is not run by the Chinese government, but it is run by Chinese people, which is different. The people that run it are Chinese, and they're against the Chinese Communist Party, but they're also part of a group called Falun Gong, Falungong. Now, all I would say is look them up and see what you find about Falun Gong. Look at all sources. You might see one source that's negative, one that's look at everything and then make your own mind up. That's all. I'm hitting the microphone, but make your own mind up and then we can just get down to the core. But I just like transparency. I would like to know that Epoch Times is run by Falun Gong from the beginning so I don't just find out and I'm shocked. That's all. I would never be paid by China to do anything. Never, never. All right. So thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. Did I cover everything up? Oh, yeah, I think I did cover everything I wanted to cover. I'll talk about some more stuff later because it's still a whole lot going on. It's a whole lot happening. Oh, Cannon Hennett, of course. Did I cover Cannon Hennett in the previous live show? But if I didn't, now you guys may know about the young boy, 5 years old, shot and killed by a 25-year-old male. Now the news media, we pretty much forced them to cover it. They didn't want to cover it at first. They didn't want to say anything. Like if you were to search Cannon Hennett on CNN, MSNBC, you would find nothing at all. But it was a pretty big story. You had a 5-year-old boy. He was white, shot and killed point blank range by a 25-year-old male who was black. Now they caught that guy, the 25-year-old. They caught him in Goldsboro, which is about a half hour north of where the crime happened in Wilson, North Carolina. So they caught him. He's pretty much going to go up the river any day now. But the thing is, if the races were reversed, if the male, the 25-year-old, if he were white and the little boy were black, then it would be considered a hate crime. Before anything was known, they wouldn't try to get to the bottom of it. They wouldn't try to wait for facts. They would just say right away, hate crime, he got to go under the jail, racist, all this and that. It'd be all over the place. The same kind of way Charlottesville still is. In Charlottesville, that whole thing is wrong. They're talking about, good people on both sides. I cringe every time I hear that because that's not what was going on. But anyway, so we forced CNN to cover it. And then when CNN covered it, they didn't talk about race at all. In the headline, all they said was 5-year-old boy shot and killed by a 25-year-old male. They didn't say that the boy was white and the shooter was black. But like I said, if it were the other way around, they certainly report that for sure. And people said, oh, nah, only time that happens is when it's police, please. I mean, who killed Trayvon Martin? Was it a police officer? Who killed Ahmaud Arbery? Was it a police officer? Come on, let's stop playing. Let's just stop playing these games. All right. The only time it really matters if somebody gets shot, an innocent person, is when it's a racial element to the mainstream media. Now, my thing is, if you're going to cover these kind of stories, let's not have it be about race. Just cover it in general because it's a tragedy that happens. Let's do it like that. Okay, that's really just long and short. It's simple, but they don't want to do that. It reminds me of Jamila Bowden back a few years ago. I covered that story too. This is in Ferguson, or by Ferguson, Missouri, where Michael Brown got shot, and he, was not innocent either, but different story. Now, Jamila Bowden, a young black girl, 9 years old, was doing homework on the mother's bed, and some gangbangers outside shooting each other, and the bullet went through the wall of the house, of her mother's house, and it pierced the wall she was in and killed her right there on the bed. 9 years old. There was no real fanfare for that. There was no real, that's the wrong word, but you understand what I'm saying. There was no real outrage for that by the media. There was nothing. It was just kind of like crickets. Now, contrast that to like right next door or right close to where she was living. It was a gangbanger, a grown man, really, not even like a little kid, but an adult gangbanger. Wants to come outside, try to shoot the police. He gets shot, killed, and then there's this whole big Black Lives Matter protest, hands up, don't shoot, stop killing us. So when a gangbanger, active gangbanger comes outside, tries to shoot the police, and he gets shot himself, there's this whole big protest and rally. But when a 9-year-old girl gets killed, like right next door, by them same gangbangers, it's no problem. So the message is, little kids get killed, so what? Gangbanger gets killed by police, are we going to go out here, we're going to riot, we're going to protest, we're going to do everything, okay? Same thing in Seattle, Washington. When the people that were in this Chaz Chop zone talking about Black Lives Matter killed 2 young black men. One guy was not even the man. He was 16. He was a boy. He was a teenager. 16 years old, killed him. Another one, 19 years old, killed him. You know, his dad's on TV. Horace Lorenzo Anderson Sr. They killed his son, Horace Jr. He's on TV crying. Where's the riots and the protests and the marches for him for Black Lives Matter? So that's how you know this whole thing is phony as fake. Now we can just clearly see what's going on. So May Cannon Hannon, rest in peace. And the guy that did it will be up under the penitentiary for sure. And the media, if they're going to cover these kind of stories, either leave race out of it, which is what I want you to do really. That's my preference. Leave race out of it or cover the race all the time. If you don't cover the race all the time, then we see the blatant just bias and you're trying to stoke racial tension. So these things that are happening, these race riots and whatnot, some of that is on the media's back for inciting the people. Most regular normies don't even really understand what's going on with Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. They turn on their TV and they watch CNN for 5 minutes and they believe whatever it says because they have no other point of reference upon which to judge or base discernment. They look at that and see, okay, that's what it is. That's what's going on. I believe that. All right. So part of my job is to keep the media honest and on their toes and away from just the BS that they try to pull on us all day, every day. So it is what it is. Now, Millie Weaver. Now, I saw that she got arrested. They're talking about, like, they came to her house and arrested her. They said that, I forgot what it was, like domestic violence and all kind of stuff, burglary. I'm not sure what exactly she got arrested on, but Millie Weaver, she is, I think, part of InfoWars. She has her own channel, Millennial Millie, and she got arrested at her house and it was live streaming and everything. Her son was like in the background crying. She's married, I think, too. Her husband got arrested as well with her. Now, I don't know how this happened, what's going on. I have such little information that I can't really make much of a comment, but I will say that it's pretty crazy what's happening. All that I do know is that she had a documentary coming out and they were saying she had some kind of stolen documents from the government or something that she was able to get from someone else, but they're saying she might have taken them. I don't know what's going on with that, but either way it goes, this will be really interesting to see how it plays out. Hopefully hopefully there's not any kind of crime that happened, you know, because I don't know if she did something or what. I doubt it, but if she did, then, you know, it is what it is. If she didn't, which I think is probably the most likely scenario, she needs to come home pretty soon. But we'll see how this whole thing plays out. I think that we'll understand more information as time progresses. But for right now, Millennial Millie, also known as Millie Weaver, has been arrested. Is she still in jail? Yes, she did get arrested. Yes, she did. Now, hold on. I'm going to look right now on Twitter and see if it's any kind of update. Hold on. Let me just search it right quick. And, okay, so Ezra Levant from Rebel News, he says, I'm put it on the screen right quick so you guys can see it, just so you know I'm not telling you any lie. Okay, He says he spoke with Millie Weaver's family friend, Matt, who's been doing yeoman's work on this. He gave me a briefing. We talked legal strategy. I expect Millie to be released on Monday, when I will arrange the transfer of funds to her. Okay, so they got to GoFundMe to get legal funds and whatnot for her. And that's what he says on his part as any kind of update. Hold on. Let me see if there's anything else about her. So the mainstream media has a report. This is from cleveland.com. Hold on. Let me just do this ad blocker stuff right quick. Give me 1 second, y'all. I thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up. If you appreciate real news media from a legitimate source, I thank y'all for watching the show. Okay. Now, let me just get this in here. InfoWars correspondent arrested on robbery, domestic violence charges in Portage County. I think that's in Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. So a correspondent for InfoWars, the far-right website. See, okay. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is what I'm talking about. This is cleveland.com. This is not even some type of mainstream media. This is just, some random moron staff writer. I'm going to read this so you can kind of see where I'm getting frustrated. A correspondent for InfoWars, the far-right website that peddles debunked conspiracy theories and fringe political theory. Are you seeing that? So they're giving you the bias straight from the beginning. They're framing it as these people are kooks, they're whack jobs, all this, that, and the third. But anyway, was arrested on Friday at a house in Portage County after a grand jury handed up a secret indictment charging her with robbery and domestic violence. Portage County jail staff on Saturday confirmed that Millie Weaver, 29, is being held on charges of robbery, tampering with evidence, obstructing justice, and domestic violence. Her boyfriend, 45-year-old Gavin Wentz, not judging, is also being held on the same charges. Both are being held until a Monday morning arraignment hearing where a common pleas court judge will set bond. Calls to the Portage County Sheriff's Office seeking information about the charges were not returned. Weaver broadcast a portion of her arrest on social media. A deputy can be heard in a video telling her a grand jury indicted her as he asked dispatchers to send another car to an address on Yale Road in Diamond, where records show Wentz owns a home. So they're going to pick up the boyfriend, too. Weaver said in the video that she had no idea why she was being arrested and that she was about to break huge breaking news. Okay, so that's pretty much what it is. Okay, and here's some more about from these writers. The video has been shared thousands of times and has kicked off a host of conspiracy theories about the reason behind her arrest. Weaver, who also creates videos under the moniker Millennial Millie, released a trailer last week of a new video that she claims may be the biggest whistleblowing event to date. The video appears to include interviews between Weaver and two people who claim to have first-hand knowledge of a clandestine attempt by government officials to use psychological warfare and mind control tactics to carry out a coup against President Donald Trump, and a narration of the often debunked conspiracy theories about so-called deep state. You see what I'm saying? This is why I'm here to give you some real information. This is crazy. This is totally crazy. All right. So they're talking about this more, and they're talking about a channel, and they brought Roger Stone, of course, all kind of stuff. So basically, the long and short of it is that she got arrested. It was a grand jury that decided they gave her a secret indictment, and they came to her crib and picked her up. That's what's going on with that. And I think that she might live in Ohio or somewhere. I'm not really sure. Yeah, Cleveland. So in Ohio, somewhere by Cleveland. All right. And that's what it is. Oh, yeah. Deep state don't exist. I don't believe that. Don't watch InfoWars because they're just right-wing kooks that don't know anything. Right? Okay. Let's not forget that Alex Jones has been right so many times about what's happening in this country right now. But don't watch that. Watch us, cleveland.com. We have all the real information, right? Random moron staff writers that have been brainwashed in a university are telling you the real news. That's what's going on with that, huh? Okay. I mean, the media sucks. Like, that's why a lot of us hate the media so, because they do stuff like that. But anyway, hopefully she'll be let out on Monday, like Angela Levant was saying, and hopefully this thing does not go further as far as any kind of criminal action, but it could. Corn Pop did it. Yeah, shout out to Millie Weaver. Hopefully everything works well. Now, are the kids, no, she has at least one son. Maybe she might have some other kids too. Where are the kids at right now? I don't really know. Okay, let's get into the super chats and then we'll talk more as we get to the calls a little bit later. All right, shout out to hold on, let me see. Thank you to Ian Kenny, who says Millie Weaver arrested yesterday before dropping video exposing deep state, #Shadowgate. Thank you to Apu Bakar Al Puff Daddy, who says BLM lied, innocent people died, RIP Cannon Hennett, Sequoia Turner, Horace Lorenzo Anderson Jr., Italia Marie Kelly, David Dorn, David Patrick Underwood, Pernell Chamel, and others. 100% correct. Thank you to Apu Bakar Al Puff Daddy, who says, hey, ABL, terrific chat last Thursday with Brandon and Derek, during which you flash your AR bling bling. If money were no object, what firearm would be your next purchase? Money were no object, man. I'm going to get some type of high-powered sniper rifle. I'm trying to shoot from a football field, you understand what I'm saying, with accuracy. That'd be my next thing. Or some kind of like, whatever I can get that's legal, that's like the equivalent to a rocket launcher. I want that. Legal stuff. I'm not advocating nothing illegal, government watching, Google watching, nothing illegal. Whatever I can get that's legal, that's the near equivalent to a grenade launcher or a rocket launcher, just to have. I won't even use it, just to have it like in the case somewhere. I'll put it up in the big glass case in my house. I'll find room for it. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I'll put it on the ceiling or something just to have it. You understand what I'm saying? Shout out to Apple Bucker, Apple of Daddy, who says, hey, ABL, have you recently contacted, have I been contacted by any Democrats, white, black, Puerto Rican, candy stripe about their VP nominee, Kamala Harris? What are their reactions? I've not been contacted by any Democrats about Kamala, but I'm watching people react to Kamala Harris, and it's funny. It's definitely funny how they don't like her, and it's no surprise because people didn't like Kamala Harris during the primary. So if she was doing poorly during the primary, she's not gonna just magically do better now that we're past the primary and we're into the general election. I don't see how that makes any sense. She's not going to have a higher approval rating now. You know, shout out. And it's funny how the white man, a 77-year-old white man, got a much more exponential amount more of the black vote than Kamala Harris did. Kamala Harris pretty much got 0% of the black vote. Hilarious. But anyway, but Black Lives Matter. Anyway, shout out to Chicken's World for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Don't Bill Me, great name for the super chat. Thank you to David Guy, who says, have you heard about BLM rioters looting, attacking the Ronald McDonald House with 6 kids inside? New York Post. Anyway, thanks for doing what you do. I did hear about that. Yeah. Now, I don't know what that was all about. Why they attack the Ronald McDonald House? You're not going to get money in there. They think they might have thought that was like the CEO's house. They might have thought that the McDonald's man himself was in there with all the money, like Scrooge McDuck, you know, just hanging out on a big pallet of money. And people are morons. I'm talking about total morons. Hold on, I'm gonna put a video right quick. I'm gonna pull an article up. Matter of fact, hold on. Here it is. Perfect. This is exactly what's going on. Yeah, the Ronald McDonald House is not that. It's a place where you got sick kids at. It's like a children's hospital. You know, it's like CHKD in Norfolk, where, by the way, Ralph Northam works, which you shouldn't be working there, but anyway. Or he used to work there as a doctor. Okay. So, do you see this? Parents of 2-year-old cancer patient in Chicago speak out after looters smash door, ransack Ronald McDonald House. So they smashed the door too? You got kids like that in the Ronald McDonald House. What are you doing smashing the door? What kind of drugs are you, like, what type of person would do something like that? Like, I don't care if you left, right. It's no reason to go to, I mean, like, that's why I say, like, leave the kids alone, okay? If you want to be a moron and tear your own house up, then go for it, man. You can douse your own house with flames and set it on fire if you want to. Do it to yourself. Don't hurt kids. What do kids got to do with it? Don't hurt anybody, but leave the kids out of it. What does a 2-year-old kid with cancer got to do with any of this stuff we're talking about? This is stupid. This is why I'm saying there's no such thing as a peaceful protest anymore. These BLMers are not peaceful, period. I don't care if you are peaceful, you're not peaceful because you're out there with them, so you're just aiding in their destruction. They have strength in numbers. So if you're out there trying to be quote unquote peaceful, you're not peaceful. So I don't even really care at all. Period. It is what it is. All right. So yeah, that was crazy. But let me get to the next super chat. Shout out to Retro Gamer 81 who says, how good were Trump and Giuliani yesterday? NYPD endorsing Trump with other police unions to follow. I saw that. That was great. That was fantastic. Shout out to the police out there in New York. Shout out to the police unions. They're doing fantastic. And for them to endorse Trump, that meant a lot. Because they don't normally do that, do they? That's not a thing they normally do. But they understand what's happening right now in this country, and they understand that if they go, Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, it's going to be pretty much nail in the coffin. They'll be toast. Not only will they be toast, but the city will be toast as well. I forgot who said this, and shout out to you. I'm gonna steal it from you right quick. I'll get back to you, I promise. But Nick Fad on Twitter, he said New York City is like Gotham City with no Batman. That's what's happening right now. And it'll get much worse than that if you let Joe Biden and Kamala Harris come in there and continue on this whole defund the police movement. Joe Biden said, I don't want to defund the police, but then I'm going to just take money away from them. It's like, if you're going to take money away from the police, that's called defunding. I mean, am I more on the way? I don't want to defund the police, but I want to divert money from them. That's like saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to, I don't want to drive, but I'm going to get in the car, push the gas, and turn the steering wheel, and I'm going to go somewhere. It's like you're driving. You're calling it something else, but it's the same thing. You're doing the same action, but using a different a name or describing a different method to do the same thing that you were talking about. So, yeah, he's going to defund the police. So will Kamala Harris. And the funniest part about this whole ACAB movement, the all cops are bad, or the bad word they use instead of bad, Kamala Harris was Attorney General. She's a top cop. She would lock people up. That was her whole job. And, so I just don't understand the logic they're following here with what they're doing. It's kind of weird. You don't want to defund the police, but you want to take money away from them. You want to be pro BLM, but you want to hire the top cop. What are we doing? I don't know. All right. Shout out to, let me see, Hiker AZ67 who says, please talk about Carolyn Borisenko being harassed and kicked out of a hotel in Wisconsin for wearing a MAGA mask. She's the next Democrat. Show her some love. Yeah, shout out to Carolyn Borisenko. I was in her chat one time. Yeah, cool people. That's crazy. She was harassed, but they pick and choose who they want to do that to. And it's certain places where they do that. They're not going to do it to me. I'm waiting for that day to happen. They won't go do it to me. I've been in situations where I got on MAGA hats and whatnot. They don't really, the people that approached her would not do it to me because they don't want to even be dealing with a type of party. Shout out to Mr. Tix who says, check out GZC on YouTube. He's a young man that just walked away from Democrats. Thanks for influence from you all, ABL. Maybe show him some support. We need more young men and women to start speaking up for the younger generation. Great work, ABL. Much love. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Praying for the Rapture who says, ABL, thank you. Thank you to Alexandra Oresco who says, keep up the good work. Will do. Thank you for your very kind words. Shout out to Monica Grissom for your donation. Thank you to Death Card Games for the #1 emoji donation. Thank you to Dope Bellamy who says #1 fan. Thank you to Cole Detmer who says, do you think the police union supporting Trump will heavily impact the election? I'm not sure about how heavily it'll impact the election, but I think it will impact the election for sure. That's a pretty big that's a pretty big vote of confidence in the president. That's a pretty big endorsement. So I think that it could affect it, but I'm not sure to what extent. Because I feel like people that appreciate that may have already been in the back for Trump, but it may catch some that are kind of on the fence and not really sure, for sure. Thank you to WatchZiller11 who says, hey you, emoji. Thank you to Abraham who says many Cal State University EOP students end up dropping out because they can't keep up. They're not prepared for college level work. Exactly. That's a problem. You got these kids mismatched with their particular school. There's a whole book about that called Mismatch, where they speak about kids that get put into programs they're not ready for because of their ethnicity, the race, or whatever it is. Okay? It doesn't make sense to place somebody in the program just because they're a particular color. You place them there because they can perform academically well enough to be there. That's it. And that person may go to a very good college that's not that, extremely high level. You got some kids that are extremely high level and they get taught at a real fast pace. They're really good at what they do. They're not going to struggle. But some kids are just not that talented. I'm not that talented. I'm not going to go to a Yale and try to do something there. That's not in my wheelhouse. I'll go to a lower level program where I can still get a good education and still graduate if I want to go that direction, or trade school, something else. I don't have to go there because they say I can and because it's, affirmative action. It doesn't make any sense. Thank it to Flick Story Entertainment, who says, how is it possible that Democrats can scam everyone with mail-in ballot without the American people approving? I mean, it's a pandemic, the scamdemic, whatever they want to call it. That's what's going on. All right. Shout out to You're So Cool 23, who says, loan out my UT DVD today to a black customer of mine. Oh, Uncle Tom DVD. He was in the service for 20 plus years. He has 3 Trump hats and can't wear them and can't talk to his own friends. I told him to keep Uncle Tom as long as he wants and spread the gospel. Yes, you guys got to get Uncle Tom for sure. I do have it on DVD. I've not watched all of it yet, but I've watched a lot of it, and I really, they're speaking my language all day long. When you talk to us, that have that kind of experience being black and, being conservative or being liberal at one point and then coming out as conservative, we got similar experiences, but depending upon where you are in the country or in the world, it could be a different outcome, like a different way it plays out, with your friends and family. Thank you to Dwayne Mosley for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Whit Fondue for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Sisyphus Wins, who says, hey, Mayor Lori Lightfoot is so good at making straw man arguments because she tries her best to look like one. Hilarious. That's funny. Thank you to Joseph Botcher, who says, ABO, did you hear about conservative pundit Millie Weaver getting detained by local authorities and held without bond? Yeah, I saw that. Talk about that earlier. Thank you for your donation. And thank you for tea. Got tea on deck. Thank you to Captain Inspire, who says, look up your local district judge, governors, mayors, and the history. Doesn't matter much if Trump is in the White House if your local lawmakers are commies. Yeah, exactly. That's really important. Your local lawmakers, your mayor, your governor, all that. Your local elections are very important. So don't just vote every 4 years. Vote anytime you can for everything. Dog catch up to the president. Vote it all because it all matters. Thank you to Captain Inspire, who says, anything to say, anything to pray about. I've seen the finals with Rachel. I did see the finals with Rachel. I knew who he was already. I was watching finals with Rachel back in the day. Yes, shout out to all finals with Rachel. Thank you to Special Inspector, who says, AB, you can't teach hard work ethics. These kids nowadays are lost. College or school of hard knocks. Up to you to pave your own way. Hey, you know what? Some kids understand what I'm saying, and some kids don't. It's all about who you were raised by, the kind of environment you had as a child, for sure. If you didn't have a good upbringing, you got to kind of get taught that and understand it at a later point. But sometimes it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. And sometimes even a young man is an old dog. Thank you to Joseph, who says, had to correct myself. It was Millie Weaver. I got you. Thank you to Christina Richardson, who says, nailed it. Your statements on Dolly are right on. She was the first that I know of to give back to the community in the real way to those that are ignored and forgotten. Is no one scared? Exactly. Dolly Parton, they're trying to smear her as a BLM supporter. Dolly Parton is like a godsend to many people, millions of people. Not just the music, that's one thing, but her humanitarian work, especially over here, East Tennessee, to a lot of forgotten people. I mean, she really does a lot. Thank you to Larry Edward, who says, you demand ABL. God bless. Thank you for your very kind words. Thank you to Joe Huff, who says, thanks for keeping it 100. Hey, I can't do nothing else. Thank you to Michelle Bryan, who says, remember the movie Best Little Whorehouse in Texas? I have no idea what that is. The first R-rated movie that I saw had Dolly in it, and 9 to 5 was funny. Dolly is great. Islands in the Stream. Yeah, I've not seen that movie, but Dolly, she's fantastic. Thank you to Eric Burns Marsh, who says, since racism is now a public health crisis, but the Democrats put white people in quarantine. Hey, that might be next. We're laughing, but it might be next. Thank you to Justice Smith, who says, if we don't want anything political or related to the government and sports, then shouldn't we also take out the anthem? Just thought of that. Well, the anthem is not political, or at least it wasn't political. It's not political. That's not really, it's just a thing that we all do. It's just country unity. That's not a political thing. Political things are stances on issues that you got to have an opinion on. You know what I'm saying? But playing your own country national anthem in your own country is not political. It's just like waving the flag. Our flag is the red, white, and blue. That's our flag. That's a fact. It's not a matter of opinion. National anthem, that is our national anthem. It's not a matter of opinion. But Black Lives Matter and what they talk about, it's a matter of opinion. The nuclear family, that's a matter of opinion. It's not a fact. Thank you to Shannon Gonzalez for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Hudson Jackson II, who says, here it's easier to get tonic water than it is to get HCQ. Both have quinine, which is a secret to inhibiting the progress of viruses. There you go. That's free game for you. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Guillermo or Morales for the how's it going emoji. Thank you to Matthew Phillips, who says, global news, Canadian state media tried shaming people partying in Vancouver disobeying COVID rules. I saw more black people in a 20-second clip than BLM riot. Hilarious. So they're going to shame black folks in a party that aren't tearing down businesses and burning things down because they're not distancing, but they'll totally ignore the mostly white crowd talking about Black Lives Matter, burning down businesses. Okay, I see what's going on. Now, if I did not know any better, I'd say they're racist, huh? Thank you to Douglas Fantazzi for becoming an ABO supporter. Thank you to Abraham for becoming an ABO supporter. Shout out to Retro Gamer 81, who says Trump boat parade in Sleepy Joe's Delaware today. Thank you to Mr. Tix, who says America, Trump, patriots standing in the way of globalist agenda. Davi, UN Trump stood up and gave them the finger. Globalists hate Trump and they are weaponizing the media pandemic against us. This is why America does not allow HCQ in the cure. Exactly. Matter of fact, I was watching, shout out to Charlie Kirk. Big fan of Charlie Kirk. Shout out to you if you're watching, Charlie. He had a podcast with all the doctors that were in front of the White House. I did a video on that got deleted and all this and that, and the article on my website just blew up. But anyway, he did a podcast with them in person at a venue. And one thing they were talking about is the fear that the media will put into even doctors. Charlie was saying that he tried to get some HCQ from a doctor because, he's traveling, interacting, he just wants to be protected, and he can't get it. And doctors are saying to him, oh, that's that fish tank cleaner, it'll kill you. These are doctors saying this. Doctors are being manipulated by the media themselves. They don't even know what's going on. Not all doctors, obviously, but a lot of them are. They said HCQ was fish tank cleaner, although it's available all over the world over the counter. Thank you to Dr. Fry, who says F Justin Trudeau with love from Canada. Thank you for your donation and your excellent words. Thank you to Ian Kinney, who says Research Project MK Ultra and Project Mockingbird. Thank you to Abraham, who says California's ban on high-capacity magazines was ruled unconstitutional. I saw that. That's great. Hopefully they get their magazines back. That's what they got to have. Let me see. Shout out to A. Apron, who says, hey, ABL, keep up the detailed research and diligent reading, digging for the facts, real deal. I've always been a poor reader, so thanks for the info. Oh, it's all good. That's what I enjoy doing is reading. That's my love. That's my passion is reading. Charlie Kirk, if you didn't hear me, Angel. But yeah, I really enjoy reading, so that's what I do all day, so no problem. Thank you to Joshua Perez, who says, have you gotten Chinese telemarketers and have you heard the Chinese play Shen Yu? Oh, yeah. I forgot about Shen Yu. Shen Yu was also Falun Gong. So Epoch Times and Shen Yu are run by the same people. Fun fact. Thank you for that, Joshua. Thank you to, hold on. Let me go back to where I was. Shout out to Ian Kinney, who said, search for Gwen Hannon on GoFundMe. Thank you to the Valentine Show, who says Kamala Harris's father, Donald Harris, separated himself from her statement on smoking weed last year when she used a Jamaican weed smoking stereotype. Have a great weekend, brother, and to all you and your subscribers. Thank you for that, man. Good information right there. I did see that back when the father was like not really feeling this whole weed smoking and listening to Snoop Dogg, not feeling it at all. Thank you to Ian Kenny, who says, this is Mockingbird Damage Control, hashtag Project Mockingbird. Thank you to Sweet Dreams, who says, Shadowgate, you can find it on the channel, quote, Tor says, unquote, go watch it before removed, save to computer and share. I'll check it out. Thank you to Dr. Fry, or Dr. Fi, pardon me, who says, What is even worse in Canada? We have state-run media. CBC gets over $1 billion in tax money every year. Yikes. Shout out to everybody for your donations. I'll get to a few more a little bit later. But right now, let's get to the actual calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Yeah. Like the infamous Hong Kong protester said, never trust China. China is, you know, the rest. And when he says China, he does mean the Chinese Communist Party, but China in general, in my opinion. Like, if you're coming from that system, things might not always be what they seem. Just be wary of things that come from China. Anything you get, any kind of construction, any kind of food, anything. You understand what I'm saying? Like, here's a good example. Okay. Now, the government in China is bad, right? We know, everybody knows that. People in China know that. That's pretty clear. But also things that come from China might not always be good. If you're getting food from China, don't do that. Food from China is not safe. So there's other things that come from China, like, I don't know, news. It might not necessarily be 100% kosher, 100% on point. I'm just saying. All right, let's get to the calls. Let me turn Skype on. If it wants to work out for me, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, but Chinese food, I was watching some stuff. They're talking about fake oil. How you have fake oil? How does it make any sense? But they had fake oil, they had fake rice, fake alcohol. What's the point of having fake alcohol? How hard is that to manufacture? Is it that much cheaper to make fake alcohol than real alcohol? I don't understand. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna turn my ringer off so you guys don't hear that in the background. And then we'll be ready to rock and roll. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And the number is always in the description box. Alrighty, so let's do that. Let's go. All right, call you online, 206. Who am I speaking to?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
I hear you well. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I just want to say that your show is really fantastic, and I just discovered who you are maybe about a month ago when this all started, and I think what you do is really great, and thank you so much for everything you do.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you.
And also, I just wanted to let you know, I don't know if you're familiar with who Charlie Crook is.
Yeah, I know Charlie. I actually met him a few times.
Okay, well, up on his website, up under his YouTube channel, because I have premium YouTube, and it's really strange because I was able to find the actual video that you had referenced a while back about the American Freedom Doctors, the frontline doctors.
Yeah.
Well, I was able to find the whole video where he did the panel with all these doctors talking about how there's an effective treatment with I can't pronounce the word well. I'm sorry. It's the hydrochloroquine.
Yeah.
The zithromax with that treatment. And he did the whole panel. And the panel proved how effective that treatment is and how we could actually bring ourselves out of this crisis within 1 month. And I was able to find it under my YouTube Premium. But if I have two different accounts, if I go to the regular YouTube account, you can't find it. It's been taken down. But with my YouTube Premium, it's there. And I've actually saved it. And I actually sent it to you on your website. I went to your private website and sent it to you. Because
yeah,
I don't know.
I got your email. Thank you. I watched it. I got your email, and I watched it from your email.
And I've been trying to get the information out there. I truly believe that these are a panel of independent doctors, sir. They're private practice. They have nothing to gain politically or financially from this. They're just trying to get the truth out there. And this is something that could actually save the whole world. So the truth needs to get out there. And I just need to point out that the study they did that disproved it was an overdosing study. The amount of the medication they were given was 3 times the rate of what it should have been given at. and that's why people were dying. People actually can take this treatment effectively, like they pointed out. You know, even if people find that it doesn't help you, it's actually an innocuous medication. It's like taking 2 Tylenol, but as with any medication, if you like take the whole bottle of Tylenol, it's going to kill you. It's going to cook your liver. And a lot of people use that to commit suicide, okay? But if you take Tylenol as directed, it doesn't harm you at all. So do you understand what I'm saying about how they tried to put a quash on this, and they tried to say it's a bad medication, it's harmful when it's really not, and it's something that they discovered that can actually bring us out of this within 1 month.
Oh, yeah.
And the message just isn't getting out there, you know? So I just wanted to let you know about that because I had sent it to you. And, you know, it's time that, you know, we started making changes in this country, and we started calling what is for what, and letting the public know. Like they said, they just wanted to get it to the American people to let them make their decisions on their own, because the whole political divide is even going into something that it shouldn't, and that's into medicine. Medicine should be completely accessible to all, no matter what political divide you're on, no matter what background you come from. It's supposed to be the one area that's supposed to be objective and esoteric and not mixed up in any of this, you know?
That's right.
So, and I just wanted to call it out to you. And I've been trying to get a hold of other people that have bigger platforms like Stephen Crowder. I sent the information to Officer Brandon Tatum. This just needs to get out because there is a way out of this, and we can be out of it within 30 days.
Right, I'm with you.
And we can send kids back to school. We can get our economies open. We can actually get out of this disease. As I pointed out, even with a big-time vaccine, that vaccine is going to have to be done every year because it can only create 20% herd immunity and efficacy.
I got you.
So even though I'm in support of a vaccine, we need one. But if we already have a prophylactic treatment like HCQL,
that's right. I mean, you're right about what you're saying. You're right about what you're saying. And I did watch what you sent me, and it's right on point. And I'm gonna try to share it on my actual page so more can see it, because people need to really understand that. They need to understand what's happening, and they need to be contacting their local officials to be able to get this out there. So it's not just a thing that kind of exists in the fringe. It needs to become mainstream. But hey, I got a few more calls on the line. So thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
I do appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sir. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's get to the next call here. 801, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Taylor, Salt Lake City, Utah. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
Not too bad, thanks. Slightly surprised I got through, but I appreciate you taking the call. I just want to say that, I want to give you a cheers and a shout out. And I just want to say I appreciate everything you're doing. I've also wanted to kind of illustrate a few points about your presence online and the inspiration that it's provided to me and others around me. I've struggled getting my message across to some of my friends after subscribing to you. Surprisingly enough, YouTube and other sources suddenly started dishing out other conservative channels related to this type of content. And, I thought that was a bit mind-blowing, but through watching your videos and some of the other related content I found online, namely YouTube, I've been able to share this with some of my liberal or Democrat friends, and it's been kind of interesting how they've changed their tune a little bit. You and, a few others. It's kind of, inspirational. I just wanted to say cheers to, everyone watching, and, also point out that, there is, some level of hope in terms of, getting the message out there. And I think that you've contributed greatly to that, along with, some of the other people that I've stumbled across just simply by subscribing to your content. Like I said, it was shocking that YouTube actually presented it to me, but they did. And just want to throw that out there and let others know that, our liberal friends and our Democrat buddies, they're not completely lost. So, cheers.
Thank you for that, man. I definitely appreciate you.
You got it. Take care.
That's great to know that people are kind of like listening, and it may change a little bit. That's great to know. So it's not just, preaching to the choir, which is great, by the way, but you want to be able to gain people that are kind of on the cusp, people that are far out there. I want for everybody in Portland to just go home. Portland, Seattle, just go home and stop. So if I can get a few of these guys to put down their to put down their bike helmets, and to put down their trash can shields, and to put down their their spray cans, and go back to the crib and think a little bit differently, then hey, I feel great. I feel accomplished being able to get something like that done. Okay, let's get to the next call. All right, 7703 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Sarah. How you doing, Anthony?
Everything's good, man. About yourself?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. It's good to talk to you again.
Definitely, absolutely.
I just had a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. The first one is the upcoming presidential debates, and just in my opinion, I think Trump is going to slaughter Biden in any upcoming debates, because Trump has held so many press conferences when he's talking to the media, taking questions from the media. And really, it's not a question and answer like past press conferences. It's more like the mainstream media is debating Trump. Every time it's not a question and answer. It's like they challenge him on his views. And in my opinion, it's like he's practicing for any upcoming debates.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's exactly what's going on. And, it's kind of crazy to see it, because I've not seen this before. Normally just in a press conference is okay. Here's some questions, answer those, move on. It's kind of decent. But then when Trump's out there, it's just straight attacking them. And I felt like they're also trying to get famous from that. They're trying to get the 15 minutes of fame. Like the one guy the other day talking about how you feel about your lies that you told to the American people. And then when Trump didn't engage him, he was kind of mad. The media were mad. Oh, he ran away from the question. It's like, look, you asking me a dumb question that I don't agree with. I'm not going to say, yeah, I lie all the time. So, they're trying to get the 15 minutes of fame, and they're trying to debate because they got this whole thing. But like you said, it's just getting it's just sharpening the sword to get ready for the debate. Now, as far as Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, they're not answering any questions. So when it comes to a debate, who's prepared and who's not prepared? I mean, come on, it's gonna be ugly. It's like if I've been practicing playing basketball for 6 months straight with no stopping, and you have not played basketball since high school and you're 35 years old, I'm gonna tear you to pieces.
Right, exactly. And see, that's why it's like they hate Trump so much, but they don't understand. It's like they can't see how they're making him stronger. Like when they call themselves challenging him and fighting back against his point of views, he's just strengthening his skills for debates. So I'm like, it's like they just don't get it, And the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is something that is really pissing me off. Is I watch a lot of political related videos on YouTube, and I swear something that's pissing me off is when I watch these videos, they come up with these YouTube commercials, and I swear every video is a member of the U.S. Senate, or the U.S. Congress, asking American citizens to donate money to their senatorial campaigns, and it's both the Republicans and the Democrats. They are flooding YouTube with these campaign donation commercials, while at the same time they have put millions of people out of work, shut down hundreds of thousands of businesses, and then they turn around and they ask us to donate money to them while they're still receiving a full salary.
Right. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's like, well, come on, like y'all, it's like real tone deaf. It's like, okay, I'm looking at you, person in Congress, Senate, House, whatever. I'm looking at you as the reason why I'm struggling. I'm trying to get money, and you got the audacity, the nerve, the unmitigated gall to ask me for some money to give you. Nah, it should be the other way around. You give me some money. How about that? Let's turn it on its head and let that be right. That'll make more sense rather than trying to get my money.
I know, and it just shows the disdain, the lack of respect that they have toward American citizens to put you out of work. They still get a full salary. They're currently on vacation, and then they put up commercials and ask me and you to send them money. That is like the ultimate disrespect. And that's why they just don't get it. Why Trump got elected when he says, I'm going to drain the swamp both on the right and the left. I'm going to point out their disdain that they have for the American people.
That is right. Exactly.
Okay, ABL, but I tell you what, man. Hey, like I said, I watch a lot of political related videos, and you would not believe how many of those videos other channels bring up your name and how much respect they have for you and how much congrats they put out to you for the way that you've blown up over the last few years.
Wow, that's amazing. It feels good because I don't watch those. I want to have like a original thoughts in my mind, but that's good to hear. I really like to hear that.
All right, ABL, you have a good weekend, man.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, shout out to Ansel for the call. Yeah, I try not to watch too much political stuff because, like a lot of these guys are really good. I mean, you got some really talented guys on YouTube, and if I watch them, then I may try to take some of their stuff and then put it into my thing. And it might get to the point where it's too much. I want to just have, like, cause when I'm talking, I don't do any kind of script for my video. It's just me talking straight. So in the midst of me talking, I might just say a thing from this guy and that guy. I want to have it be just straight ABL. But these guys are really, really talented on YouTube. Shout out to everybody out there making the videos and delivering some real information. Everybody. Shout out to everybody. If anybody comes in here from like a different channel and they say what's up, I shout them out. I say subscribe to them because the more of us that have a voice, the more of us that have visibility, the better things are for all of us. The better things are for the whole world. So let's get to the next call here. 416, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It's Cigar Box. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I was wondering, do you know how much Black Lives Matter is worth?
I don't know an exact number, but I would guess in the millions for sure. Maybe even approaching the $1 billion mark, but definitely in the millions. At least, you're talking about 9 digits, million.
Yeah, so I was wondering if somebody could somehow, like if I could figure out how to do it, I'd do it. Put it out there that they are giving away cash to people who are ADOS, let's say, so for reparations. Just a bullcrap thing to put out there just so that they would go up there and say, hey, man, it says you're giving us money. What's going on?
That's hilarious. And the funny part is that, I know kind of what's going on with the ADOS people. I know a lot of people that's in it, people that have they're leading some of the organizations. And they kind of express that. It's like, okay, Black Lives Matter got all this money, right? And it's not even black people, it's mostly white people and some blacks in there a little bit, but they got all this money off of, black pain and destruction. Like when George Floyd got shot and killed, they raised $20 million in one day. Didn't give one red cent to George Floyd's family. George Floyd's brother got on TV and said, hey, there was all that money, but we didn't get any money. So they don't give any to the family of the guy that is the reason why they raised all the money. So it should go somewhere. And the ADOS people don't like that because they understand that the game and the con and the grift that's going on. So yeah, that's definitely that should be kind of what they do. And if they do go out there talking about where's the money, they probably would be getting the police called on them, which is, hypocritical, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and I was also wondering about, they got Portland's had riots now for almost 80 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a problem getting these slobs off the street, and they're wrecking everything. So I was wondering if anybody would think about calling up, those companies that pump out your septic tanks?
Yeah.
With they got these big trucks and they pump out your septic tanks. Well, get about 20, 30 of those trucks in a circle downtown after those idiots show up and then just turn the hoses on and flood the streets.
Hey, you know what? I've seen some of those tanks. I forget where it was, but I was like, hey, we need that right here in the States, man, because you could kill two birds with one stone. A lot of these people out there, like in Portland, not only are they out there and not really wanting to leave, they're also filthy. I mean, you got all kind of trash on the ground. You can pressure wash the streets, get all the garbage off the ground, and then also move them out the way. Problem solved. Two birds, one stone.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, because like you said, they're a bunch of pigs. Like, not only do they make them a disgusting display, they show up and they wreck things and cause a lot of disturbance, but they leave a massive mess of trash and crap all around.
Yes.
It's just, they're just full of disgusting. It's not like we've got a group here in Toronto who have been protesting the mass for about 2 months now. And after they're finished the protest, they go to an area called Cherry Beach and they have a party, and they dance till about 5 o'clock in the morning. But when they leave, they clean the place up so that it's even nicer looking than when they showed up.
Yes.
And the only problem is last week, 2 idiots got upset that they were having this party and showed up with chainsaws and cut the DJ's equipment in half.
Wow.
Yeah, people just don't like the fact, I guess, that these people don't want to wear masks. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. Thanks a lot for having me on. It's been good talking to you, Anthony. See you later.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right, great call from my man Cigar Box. Thank y'all for being here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Oh, I said earlier that George Floyd got shot and killed. He did not get shot and killed. He was just, I don't know how he died. One medical examiner says he died because he had drugs in the system. The other one, the private pathologist, said that he died because of the knee on his neck. It caused asphyxiation. Who knows who's right, who's wrong? All that I know is that he died while the police were there. And that was enough to cause a bunch of chaos all over the country and for BLM to raise $20 million in one day. And not one red cent of which went to George Floyd's family. Also, BLM uses the payment processor called Act Blue, which is the same thing the Democrats use to raise their money. All right. And Act Blue gave a big donation to, guess who? Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. Not necessarily just from people donating money to Joe and Kamala through Act Blue, but from Act Blue, the company itself, because they get a cut of the money that comes through the payment processing. They take a cut. I'm not sure how big it is, but from that cut, they get plenty of money because they process millions of dollars, millions, if not billions of dollars. So they got a nice little bit of purse themselves that they pay their employees and pay their whole infrastructure to keep up. So they donated a bunch of money from their company to Joe and Kamala. So if you donated to Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot, all cops are bad, you gave money to the guy that wrote the crime bill in 1994 that locked you up, and to the woman that was a top cop in California. How you feel about that? I digress. Get back to the next call. Okay. 304, you're on line. I'm speaker to.
Hey, my name's Matt. How are you?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
All right. I was just calling into the show here saying I'm a new listener here on YouTube. I got my first smart TV, and I got turned on to ABL's channel, and just like to give him a shout out, basically.
Well, you're live right now on the show. It's me you talking to.
What's that?
So you're live right now on the show. This is me you talking to.
Yeah.
And also, I got a little bit of background noise. Can you turn your speakers down for me?
I sure can.
All right, perfect.
Hey, awesome. Hey, I just called to say I just want to call, give you a shout out. Got my first smart TV. I'm on YouTube. My brother gave me gotta listen to ABL.
Well, I'm glad you're calling on in, man, and thank you for your support. You know, we need more people that are watching, that are spreading the information, because, you know, people, a lot of times they watch mainstream media and that's it. They don't watch anything else. So I'm glad you're tuning in, man, for sure.
I am. Mainstream media is definitely crushing me. I just had one question for you tonight. I've been watching a lot of the hashtag walk away movement.
Yes.
Actually, I'm a white male. I'm inspired by the message. I've always been an independent, and it's nice to see some people walking away. What do you think about the movement?
Oh, I love it. It's been going on for a while. I met the guy, Brandon Strout, a couple of times, I think. Nice guy. Mm-hmm. I met some people that went to the walkaway movement. You know, it's a good thing to see people just, you know, having a change of heart, thinking more openly, thinking for themselves, and just realizing what's going on. The main thing I like to see is just the education that people are receiving for the first time. Because if you're just a regular person, you go to school, you may have liberal teachers, you watch mainstream media, you just don't have the information that you need to really understand what's going on. So a big part of the walkaway movement is the education. That's what I really enjoy seeing, is people just become educated and aware of what's happening in the country. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the movement, and a big fan of anybody that's more open-minded than what they were previously.
Yeah, definitely ABL. I got some stepkids. They come home from school. They're talking, I want to be a socialist and stuff. I mean, it's crazy. Lord. So yeah, it's a fight. So I'm gonna tune them into you and some hashtag walk away, and hopefully there's hope for the future.
Absolutely, man. Definitely.
All right, man. You have a good evening.
All right. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah. See, kids are getting exposed to this kind of stuff. And the problem is that kids don't really understand what's happening. You know, they just don't really understand. They think that what they're being taught in school, it kind of makes sense to them because they have no other point of reference upon which to base that on. They don't have the full context. They don't know all the information. They hear about somebody talk about being a socialist and they might see AOC or somebody like that, and they get enamored. You know, you might be a little boy and think AOC looks like she might be halfway all right looking. So you kind of just fall into that trap. And part of our job is just to teach kids and teach adults as well, teach everybody otherwise, to educate. I really enjoy the education piece of it because that's very important. All right, let's get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. If the number is busy, it's not my fault. Blame the white man. Keep on trying. You should be able to get through at a certain point. If you can't, then, hey, like I said, it's not my fault. Let's get to the next call. 804, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 804, who am I speaking to? Hello, 804. All right, 804, you got to be, don't get cold feet now. Oh, and pro tip, if you're calling in for the first time, when I answer, have your phone right here. So when I pick up, you'll be ready to answer. If you're trying to sync it with the TV or whatever you're watching this on, it's not going to work. There is a delay. So make sure you have your ear next to the phone. So when I pick up, you're ready to answer. And also turn your speakers down in the background when you answer because it's going to interfere. I can hear it through my headphones, and so can everybody out there in the audience. It get kind of weird. Let's get to the next call. All right, caller, line with speaker 973.
Yeah, how you doing, Anthony? This is Steve.
All right, Steve, what's going on?
Yeah, thanks very much. I really appreciate you taking my call. I've listened to you for a while. I really appreciate what you put out and the fight you're fighting. So I'm in New Jersey, and it's really interesting with the vote that's coming, right? The big presidential vote. So you'd think I could call, the offices here in the county that I live and just find out about voting and whatnot, and you can't. Big surprise, you cannot. And even the governor here, I'm sure you see some of the things that have come out with the blue states. You know, they're saying now that they're trying to do all mail-in voting and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable, right? I mean, it's like they're they're just really trying to, you know, voter fraud and all these things they talk about. That's real. And, you know, they talk about voter suppression, right? I mean, give me a break. You have to show your ID for voting. I think it's a good thing to show your ID. But it's just very clear they're trying to monkey around with this stuff. What is your thought about that as it relates to the election?
Well, they're trying to just they're trying to have like little tools in their back pocket so they can engage in any kind of election fraud or interference if they want to. If they feel like things aren't really going their way, they don't have a real chance of winning, they'll do the fraud stuff. And the easy way to fraud is having no voter ID and mail-in ballots. How does it make any sense? Okay, so they want to give out ballots to everybody that's on the rolls. So they may have dead people on the rolls, people that have moved, everything. And let's say it's an apartment and it's in a high traffic, like a highly transient area. So you may have 10 former people that live there, and the same ballot might go to that apartment from 10 different people. And the person that lives there right now might just be an AOC fan, a socialist, somebody that hates Donald Trump. You say, you know what? I'm going to fill out each ballot and send it out, and I'm going to just put Democrat on it. How you really going to be able to check it? It's no voter ID, nothing. You could just send it out, and it's just out there in the wild. So they want to have this in there because they understand their base. They know that these people are crazy, they're nut jobs and morons, and they will take advantage of the loopholes that are clear to engage in voter fraud.
Yep. It's really unbelievable, and it makes me think, because I actually did vote by mail for many years, but I kind of want to be able to go to a poll now, just with everything that's going on. But when I've called the offices, I've called a few times, they don't know. These are the people at the offices that are supposed to have the answers. They don't have any clue, and they just tell you, well, try and call back. Maybe you can get a different answer if a different person answers, or you're going, what in the world? And this is New Jersey. You know, it's like, wow. It's challenging, but I really think Trump has a lot of momentum, and a lot of people have talked about kind of the silent voter and just folks that don't talk too much, but, you know, see what's going on with America and just don't want to go that route. And I think he's going to win. So I appreciate everything you do, and I know you got a lot of callers, so it was great talking to you.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Okay, take care now, sir. Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. 100%. Let me get to the next call here. 7706, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is David, ABL. How you doing tonight, man?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Well, I'm going to turn away from the TV. I don't even want to look at it while I'm talking to you.
All righty.
Hey, man, 2 or 3 weeks ago, my wife and I called you about this mail-in voting crap.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. I have a feeling either way it goes, if the numbers are inflated, whatnot, the media is going to make it look like a scam for Biden. I just hope and pray it does not happen. And I'd like to hear your views on it. Miss Lisa's out of town, so she can't talk tonight. I know your viewers like her voice, man. I want to give you a little kudos here. You're about as hard to get in touch with as Paul Feinbaum, if you know who that is.
Yeah.
I've talked. I mean, that ought to tell you a lot right there, man. But anyway, and one other thing, I mean, the mail-in voting just got me, it had me in knots about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it still does now. But one other thing, you came out with that George Floyd video, the whole deal.
Yeah.
And the media has yet to show it.
Oh, no.
Tucker showed it a little bit. But You know, I think you and Brandon, maybe a few others, may have showed a good bit of it, and I commend you for that. I mean, it was so much said there that didn't get told by the press, and I don't know, man. If it wasn't for people like you out there digging and doing a little bit to show people, a few people, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of scary, really.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm just a poor old country man. I mean, I'm sitting in my shop with a bunch of dang old German shepherds. You know, I'm just a dang old redneck, but certain crap kind of bothers me, man.
I hear you.
And you kind of give us all a platform. I appreciate that, man. But why do you think the media hasn't showed that?
Well, if they show it,
all the chaos.
If they show it, then it goes against what they've been saying all this whole time. They can't.
Yeah.
They're going down this road so far, and now they're gonna retreat. They can't retreat because they already. It's too late now. It's too late. They've based all their stuff about this. All the Black Lives Matter money they didn't spend on commercials, merchandise, and everything else. All these sports leagues doing the same thing. They can't go back now. And then they feel like they feel like it didn't really change anything because he was crying and whatnot. But it changes a lot because you understand the context as to why he was on the ground, what the whole situation was, how they were trying to be nice, how the passengers didn't have any problems.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it just kind of blows me away that, I mean, you know, a human life is a human life. I have compassion for everyone on this earth. You know, if you work and try, I have compassion for you. I mean, I'm a God-fearing man. I love everybody. But dang, you know, our country went through a lot, man. A lot.
It did.
And it's just tough. And like the little boy you had the article about the other day, you know. I don't know, man. It's a lot of sadness in the world right now. I really don't know what to say. But I really do appreciate you giving us rednecks like me a platform to talk. Thank you for taking my call, and man, more power to you, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, have a good one, buddy.
Same to you.
Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, man, I'm here for y'all. You know, people that the media don't want to talk about too much. The media have their own little view of what the country is and who we are as people, and they just want to put that out there, but they don't want to talk to actual people like yourself, myself, everybody that's watching. All right, let's get to the next call. 304, you're online. I'm speaking to.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
This is ABL, right?
Yes, it is. And before you start, just turn your speakers down in the background for me.
Okay. I'm sorry. 1 second. Sorry, my TV's off.
Alrighty.
I'm actually watching this live, but thank you for answering my call.
Hey, no problem.
How are you doing?
Everything's good. Can't complain too much. About yourself?
I'm doing really well. My name's Brianna, and I actually don't live too terribly far from you. I think you said you're from Tennessee, and I'm from Huntington, West Virginia.
Yeah, I know that place. I was born in Charleston.
Was you really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I only live like 45 minutes from there. But, okay, so I don't know. I've been watching a lot of stuff because I don't know if you know this about West Virginia or not, but, everybody actually thinks for some reason that we are very conservative people or whatever, which I am. And part of the area I'm in is conservative, but if you go towards Huntington, which is a very drug-ridden place, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It is more of a liberal place. And what I've noticed is the people that are siding with Biden happen to be more so towards the lower end income, and I just think it's terrible that these people aren't aware of what they're what they're standing for. They think that they're doing something good, I guess, and in actuality they're not. Like my cousin, for instance, she eats, sleeps, and breathes anything liberal, and for instance, like she was talking about Trump trying to do tax cuts, and the reason that she was so upset is because she doesn't understand, or not tax cuts, but the thing where he was going to pretty much let you keep all your money all year, and then you just had to pay it back at the end of the year, which is what a lot of people do anyways. But the problem it causes for her is the fact that she waits till the end of the year, and she's got like a bunch of kids, so you get back extra money because you have kids, so it really affects her, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, because she doesn't get just free money off of the government anymore.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't think everybody understands that.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
people like her.
Yeah, like it kind of like just depends on where you are. Like the people can kind of be kind of conservative, but then it's like, okay, look at your policy, look at what you're voting for, look at what you support. So it's not always like that. You got to look at each region, each area of a place, and then just judge it on that. You know, but I tell you one thing, even though once you get towards like city areas in certain parts of the country, it's more liberal. Certain cities are much more liberal than other cities. Like when you go to the West Coast, or I call it the left coast, it's crazy. Yeah. Like Huntington, I know about Huntington, you know, with the heroin and whatnot. I know about that. But you go to San Francisco, but San Francisco is like a whole different level. You're talking about like 100 times worse, and you're talking about a big, rich city. So it just depends on where you are in the country, and just gauging how crazy they are to the next place.
We get a lot of trafficking from Detroit. Like, we have had so many drug busts down here from people who will be staying at a hotel, and they go and search their license and stuff, and they're like, dude, you're from Michigan, you know, like, and coincidentally, I'm not saying all of Detroit's drug ridden, but I mean,
no, I know how it is. Like, yeah, because I mean, I was up there one time. I was watching the news. You know, I'm a grandma's house, chilling, watching the news, and then it was a drug bust, and everybody from Detroit, and they said that I think it was 1 year, all the homicides were people that came from Detroit in 1 year. Like all the homicides in the city were Detroiters.
And it goes back to the place in Huntington that this happens. Like, I know the other day you were saying, and I'm sorry, I know you have a bunch of calls. I've been trying to get through for a couple of weeks, and I'm mouthy, I guess. But about the whole, it might have been a couple of weeks ago. I've been watching your videos, so they're just kind of all going together at this point. But where he was pretty much one everywhere, or the left was one all of pretty much one in Section 8 everywhere. Yeah. And, you know, bigger cities, they have Section 8 booked up, so they don't really understand because they just got places. Well, you go in Huntington, and it is nothing but Section 8. I mean, literally nothing but Section 8. And you don't, like, people don't understand how big of a deal that is, because it is, we had the problem of, for instance, we live in a more costly complex, and right behind us is a trailer park that has nothing but Section 8 in it. So it's got nothing but drugs and stuff in it. Right. And all that stuff just goes hand in hand. And the only people that are really getting upset about all the stuff that the right is doing, not that you're not allowed to have your own opinion or anything, but like the only people that gets upset about it is the people that are getting cut off of the government funds. That's right. And exactly. It's literally my cousin, and I know what, for instance, like her boyfriend, like said they have 3 kids. He works at Wendy's for, you know, less than 40 hours a week, and they're wondering why they can't make ends meet. It's like, are you logically doing the math here on that? Right. that's all I wanted. I really appreciate you taking my call, and I really appreciate you sending a message and not being biased to everything like a lot of people are. But thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah. So what she was saying is right on the point. That Section 8 stuff. Yeah, people don't want that next to them because we, like, people that live next to that kind of stuff understand what that brings. Okay, we don't hate so-called poor people. It's not even about that. It's about the kind of element you bring when you have the Section 8 right next to you. If I live in a suburb area away from all the drug houses, I don't want a drug house right next to me overnight. And that happens when you allow Section 8 and you have low-income housing built right next to where you live. Okay, I live out here for a reason. I don't want to be next to the dope house. I escaped that kind of area to be out here. Don't bring it right next to me. People that, like she said, people that are against that kind of stuff, people that are against us being against Section 8 and low-income housing moving into our areas don't deal with it. They don't live in the area like that. But they have no problem telling you got to live there, even if you have the means to not live there. All right, let's get to the next call. 440, you know, line, who am I speaking to?
Hello. Hi, this is Abelis. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, but I'm doing well. About yourself?
Just had a quick question. Do you think that as the United States that we kind of like rely on the government for like to provide for us instead of like us providing for ourselves, like losing that between us and God, like to provide for us?
I think that too many of us look at the government to do too many things. So I'm not sure about all of us as Americans in general relying upon the government, but a lot of us do rely on the government too much. I'm not sure how many of us, but millions. And then we think the government should do things they probably shouldn't be doing. We should have government, but it should be small and slim to the point where it's in the background. It shouldn't be the go-to for everything that we have. And less government will make things better rather than more government, because when you have more government, the solution, like you have problems that are created by government, and the solution is always more government.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I was just thinking, you know, I've just been hearing a lot of stuff like all this free stuff and going around, and I'm thinking, I think we kind of we've taken for granted, like, you know, being able to pursue things ourselves and relying on, you know, our hard work and ethic to provide, you know, pursue our dreams and everything instead of relying on the government for health care and different things.
Right, exactly.
But cool. Anyway, I appreciate everything that you do. Been watching you for actually a few months now, me and my husband, and definitely have changed my mind and opened up my mind to a lot of the lies that are going on in the media and everything. So it's been a great education. So I appreciate everything you do, and God bless you.
Well, thank you for the call. God bless you as well.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Too many of us rely upon the government for too much. That's definitely facts all day long. All right, let's get to the next call. 580, you know, line, who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Kelly from Oklahoma. How are you doing?
I'm well, can't complain. About yourself?
Oh, man, guess what we did this week?
What's that?
We started school.
Oh, yeah, congratulations.
Yes. We, our school has a return to learn plan, you know, where the kids can go back and they can, face to face. They have to wear masks, which I digress. But at least we're getting to be there, and they could do, or they could do virtual, you know. And so last week there was a big 10 people showed up at the board meeting to protest not until it's safe. And so I spoke. I got to, you know, I had put on the list to speak, and basically what I said is, if you keep saying not until it's safe, that is a moving target. And you cannot hit a moving target. And so, we have plans to mitigate. We're going to navigate so that our kids can participate. But one of my favorite quotes is from Grace Hopper, who says, "A ship in its port is safe, but that's not what ships are built for."
Mm.
And so we came back. I mean, our school has 2,600 kids.
That's excellent.
We are there, and we're having school.
And you know what? It makes sense because one thing I know is that this virus does not even really affect young people like that. You know, most of the deaths are people that are elderly who have underlying conditions. That's really what it is. If you have a kid that's like 300 pounds and he's 8 years old, he probably shouldn't be. He needs to be. He has greater issues to deal with rather than the virus. Deal with the greater issues first. But everything will be fine. People are freaking out way too much. The death rate is very low, and we all know it. So let's get back to life. You know, and you can't just, like you said, you can't just live life with zero risks. That's not called living. That's called just breathing, existing. That's not living at all.
Well, I tell you what, I'm excited. Now, there were news crews there at the board meeting, like 6. Now, I'm not, we are the 3rd largest school district in Oklahoma. So we are a large school district, but the news crews were there. And so immediately after the board meeting, they rush, and I'm not kidding you, they rush to the people who had something negative to say. And they're doing these little interviews. So I stood there and I waited. And they all kind of filtered all out to the hall, and I stood there. And as they were putting their things up, I stood there and I said, do any of you want to talk to anyone who has a positive outlook? And they would not make eye contact with me.
Wow.
Nor did they acknowledge my presence. And so what ran on the news was tensions high as, the name of our school starts. And I'm like, no, we're excited. The kids are beyond excited. So, I mean, all props to us, man. We're going. Now, I will tell you, this is, I don't know how this happened, but we got a letter on Friday afternoon that one student had tested positive. Now, you tell me how a kid tests positive and gets it overnight. They don't.
Right.
But we have seating charts, and we know who is within 6 feet of that student at any time for 15 minutes or more. Well, guess what we do in my classroom? Every 12 minutes, brain break. We stand up, we move. I'll do a Likert scale thing where like agree or disagree, and you move around the room. So there will never be a student in my classroom that is within 6 feet for 15 minutes consecutively.
Right.
I mean, you just have to make it work. But anyway, yeah, we're having school in Oklahoma, and at least at my school. The neighboring Oklahoma City, nope, they went virtual. Norman, nope, they went virtual. But we're standing strong, more strong, because we are more strong.
That's right, absolutely.
Okay, I just had to call and tell you the great news. I'm excited to be back.
Well, I thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you. No, I'm excited for you. Hopefully everything goes smooth, and I know it will. Thank you for your call.
Yes, have a great day.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, I'm excited for them to go back to school. Kids need that school, man. It's really, really important. Kids definitely need it. Okay, somebody said, I've lost the question, so I can't read it verbatim, but somebody said, if there was 1% chance of dying from eating a bowl of cereal, would you eat it? Well, I mean, if I had to eat, what am I going to do? I got to eat. If I don't eat, then you can't survive if you don't eat. So it just depends on the situation. You got to go to school. And this whole thing about, the virus is out there. How long is the virus going? The virus ain't going to go nowhere. Viruses don't get eradicated. They're still going to be there. So it's like, what are you going to do? Just never come outside again. And then you got these colleges talking about virtual learning. What's the point in going to college and learning virtual? How are you going to be able to get anything that's worth an exorbitant amount in tuition through virtual? You could just go on YouTube and teach yourself that way. I mean, Khan Academy, just find tutorials or whatever on YouTube or read books to teach yourself. And you won't have to pay this crazy, stupid student loan. If I'm paying like 30 grand a year or more in student, I never did that. But if I was to pay 30 grand a year or more or per semester in student loans, I'm not going to learn online. And if I am, I'm dropping out. If you got to learn online and you're not trying to become a doctor or something like that, some kind of extreme, drop out. Or at least pause for now. There's no point in spending all this money to just sit in front of your computer and do the same thing you could do on your own. I need to be in a class, collaborating with people. I need hands-on. I need face-to-face communication. Online? Nah, I'm not paying for that. As simple as that. 650, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Tino from the San Francisco Bay Area.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Oh, not much. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Well, I can complain. I got plenty to complain about. ABL, I'll make it quick. I'll ask a question, and you can we can hang up, and you can answer it later. This is real smart with shutting down the postal service and their machines and all that, so it makes it really hard for them to commit fraud. I thought that was really smart of Trump to do that. But I'd like to see the Republicans fight fire with fire. You know, if you guys are if the Democrats are gonna come out and, you know, stuff the ballots with a bunch of phony ballots and you know, absentee mail-in ballots, why can't we? You know, I'm tired of us turning the other cheek. You know, I'm a Christian and everything, but I'm tired of like being slapped around by these people. You know, we're called racist. We're called, you know, every name in the book, and there's no fact to it. I don't see why we don't use their dirty tricks on them. You know, you want us to play that game? We'll play that game. I'm not above it. I was just wondering, you know, like they have all these ads with, you know, or like say Oprah calling out white people, and why don't we have people of black people calling out white people, saying, why are you so stupid? You know, we don't need your help. You know, we're not broken. Who do you think you are that you're so superior to us that, you know, we need your reparations? We need that type of, I don't know, advertisement or something along those lines. And I was just wondering, you know, what you thought about that sort of thing. Using their own tactics against them is basically what I'm saying. And if you think that's, you know, I know it's kind of dirty pool too, but just a thought. Anyway, really appreciate you, man. We all do. And who's your running mate in 2024?
I have no idea, but whoever it is, they'd be on the same page with me. We'd be able to get some stuff done if I was able to, you know, go out there and run for the big house.
You'd go far, man. Let me tell you, you would.
Well, I thank you for that, man. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, then. Have a good night.
All right, same to you. All right, shout out to the caller. Now, I got to say, I'm not necessarily a fan of doing something like that as far as any kind of voter fraud myself. But I think we could fight against it in a different way. Just put more information out there. And, you know, the best way to fight against it is to do stuff right. Because once you start to be doing corrupt stuff and they're doing corrupt stuff, ain't no more rule of law. Everybody's just corrupt. And then at a certain point, you're going to have the guns to come out. So I'm trying to have a peaceful society that doesn't have that kind of stuff happening. That does not permit that kind of stuff from going on. So I'm not sure what the ultimate solution is aside from just voting the right way. Because one thing about it, they're going to cheat if they want to cheat in their areas, and we got to just do the right things in our areas. I don't know. But I understand where he's coming from. So let me get to the next call. 951, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, this is Sherry in Arkansas.
All righty, Sherry, what's going on?
Oh, I just wanted to tell you, this is going to make you feel good. Here in Arkansas, we vote in person. We go back to school come Monday, real school, face-to-face. We vote in person. We have to show a picture ID. No mail-in voting at all. We're not allowing that. They tried to start riots in Little Rock and Fayetteville, and the governor went on TV and he said, no way. He said, I will call in the National Guard, and that just nipped it right in the bud, and we haven't had a problem since.
Well, that's excellent. That's what I like to hear. We need to have more places like that understand what's going on and put it into it soon, because a lot of places, they don't put it into it. They pretty much just let things go on, and then they get this big monster that they can't control, and they try to control it later. It's like, well, it's too late. You didn't already let it grow. You should have, right away stopped and nipped it in the bud, and you won't be here. So I'm glad you guys have some sense and do things that make sense.
Well, and the thing was, we never locked down either. We weren't mandated to wear a mask. Our governor says, it's probably the smart thing to do, but I'm not going to mandate it. He trusts us to do what's right, and I thought that was great. We still don't have a mandate for that. We weren't locked down. Let's see. Oh, I escaped from Southern California and moved here the end of last year, and this place is awesome. So great. There's a great sense of community. The people. I live in a small town here. I did a lot of research before I moved here. No, I'm not bringing that crazy, weird stuff from California here. I told them not to worry about that at all. But I'm happy as a pig in a waller here, I got to tell you. So there is some good, and we're a deep red state. We love our freedoms. We value the Second Amendment. We're not toppling any statues here, none of that dumb stuff. So at least there's one state that's cool.
Absolutely, 100%. I love it.
Well, I'm so glad to talk to you, Anthony. I found out about you watching Brendan Tatum and saw you with Derek one time, and I was so impressed with how you present your information, and I've been watching you ever since. And I love you. I just love you. I'm glad you're there.
Well, thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you.
Okay, well, have a good evening. I'm so glad I finally got to talk to you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. So I like to hear that. She came from California and did not bring the California stuff with her. She's like, okay, I'm gonna leave all that behind. I'm moving over here to Arkansas and researching where you want to move. That's that smart thinking right there. It's like, okay, I want to go here. Everything's all good. It's cool. It's relaxed. It's chill. The cost of living. Do all that kind of research. Going to citydata.com, all the kind of, going on the forums, where's a good place to live? Do you have this? You have that? It makes sense. Making the smart decision with your life. You could do that here in the United States. It's the best place on earth. You can't do that everywhere, but you could do that here. Let me get to the next call. Call in on the line. I'm speaking to 517. 517. I'm speaking to 517.
ABL.
Yes.
Oh, hey, first time caller, man.
Hold on. Caller, before you start, I got noise in the background. I can't play music, so if you could turn it off for me, that'd be great.
Oh, I didn't think I had any music here. The phone's picking it up pretty good then.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Oh, it's all good.
Okay. Are we good now?
Good.
Hey, love your show. Been watching you for a while. Just had a quick question. This is Mark from Michigan.
Alrighty.
Quick question, though. You know, I heard you touch on it a couple of times about BLM and Antifa. You considered them pretty much terrorist organizations, and I wholly agree with that. My question is, do you think that anybody is ever going to try and bring any legislation to start treating them like they're terrorist organization, domestic terrorists?
Well, I hope so. I think there was something that was brought to the table. I'm not sure what's going on with it right now, but it should be something brought to the table that says, okay, Antifa, BLM, they are a terrorist organization because of what they do. I mean, it's pretty clear. Everywhere they go, every time they see them, it's always some kind of problem. Okay, so they definitely should be seen as that, and there should be some actual legislation that identifies them as such. So, yeah, definitely, I think that should happen.
I don't know how much more evidence we're going to need to prove that, because every time there's rioting and this stuff going on, you know, I mean, I do believe that maybe some of the rioting going on and they're screaming BLM, maybe they're not associated with BLM, they're just throwing it out there, you know. I mean, that I'm sure that's going on, but yeah, it's been coming up quite a bit, and at some point we're going to have to look at it as domestic terrorism, especially, I think, if Trump stays in office. I think we can expect to see something like that. I mean, who knows? The FBI might even be doing their investigations to start grabbing some of these rabble-rousers. But hey, keep doing what you're doing. Love the show, and nice talking to you.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, take care. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. And thank y'all for being here. You guys are fantastic. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And if you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Hit that subscribe button for me one time, and also hit the bell right beside it. When you click that bell, you get notified whenever I go live and or post a new video. So subscribe and click the bell. Also, this show will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor. There's a link for that in the description box. You can also search for me on your favorite audio streaming platform. Just search ABL Live. I should come right on up with a nice big red image with the logo in it and a little podcast symbol. Also, if you want one of these hats that I got on my head right now, there's links in the box. Also, the flags, links in the box for that. I'll put those in the chat box right here on the right hand side of my screen and right in front of you watching it right now, so you're able to go ahead and get that ASAP. And I'm gonna get to the next call.
The smart decision.
All right, calling on the line. Who wants to speak to 301?
Benjamin Bussy. Yeah, I just want to thank you for your service, man. And I was one of the many callers that called about the Epoch Times, and I mentioned the Epoch Times to you. And I really appreciate you giving a very thorough lesson tonight about what you learned about the Epoch Times. You said you went down the rabbit hole and you was on your ropes and your hooks and everything. Because I didn't jump into the hole like you did. So I just wanted to say, man, that I appreciate you open my eyes. As a matter of fact, I do look at Crossroads at 10:30 Monday through Friday, and I notice how they do mention Falun Gong. This constantly comes up a long time. So you open my eyes up to a lot of things, and I would definitely, just be more aware. And I do appreciate you, man, real deeply, man, because you really educated me, and I appreciate you for that, man. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your night, sir.
And thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You got it.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, if you weren't here earlier in the stream, I was talking about Epoch Times, and one of the callers last time mentioned Epoch Times, and they were mentioning something I said before about kind of being wary about them. The caller was like, "Why don't you trust them?" I was like, "Well, I don't know if I don't trust them. I was just kind of wary because when I was in Atlanta for Black Voices for Trump, as I was leaving the event where Trump spoke and where Herman Cain was at." May he rest in peace. I was walking through the hallway. Here come two Chinese people coming up to us with newspapers talking about, Epoch Times, Trump read paper. I'm like, what is this? In my mind, I didn't say it to them. I'm like, what is this? Why you got these two random Chinese people in here handing out newspapers. I've never seen anybody Chinese hand out newspapers before. So I was kind of confused why they were at the Black Voices for Trump event or outside the event giving us the newspapers. I just didn't understand how that made any sense. I thought Epoch Times was like an American conservative newspaper. But what I found out is that it's not an American conservative newspaper. It's a Chinese newspaper that has conservative content. Not Chinese as far as CCP, but Chinese as far as who runs it. It's Chinese people that run it specifically. So I thought that was kind of strange. And then I went down the whole rabbit hole. They got a bunch of fake Facebook pages, and I learned about NTD as well. If you follow NTD, it stands for New Tang Dynasty. That's also Chinese, and it's run by Falun Gong, which run Epoch Times. Shen Yun, the traditional Chinese dance, that's also run by Falun Gong, which is also the company that runs Epoch Times and NTD. You understand what I'm saying? So that was really eye-opening for me. I didn't know all that. I'm not saying that Epoch Times is a bad newspaper. I'm just saying I would like to know who runs it. A little bit of transparency wouldn't hurt. Maybe I just was looking in the right place. I could have found it out maybe, but they should be more open with that. I had no idea that Shenyang was run by Falun Gong. And Falun Gong is kind of a culty organization, but at the same time, not really. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Falun Gong, Falungong. Falun Gong. Look it up for yourself. Make your own mind up. Don't take my word for it. But Epoch Times, Shenyang, and NTD, all Falun Gong. Fact. All right, let's get to the next call. All right, calling on the line. We're speaking to 209.
Mr. Logan, how you doing? This is Jonathan calling out of California.
All right, man. What's going on?
Brother, I just wanted to, first and foremost, just wanted to say thank you so much for doing what you do. I know that's repetitive, but, you know, it's factual. And my wife and I have been tuned into you for a minute, and we just wanted to both, you know, just extend our gratitude to the platform that you have set up for young adults like myself to tap into and get educated on. And before watching you guys on YouTube, you, Brandon, a couple others, man, it was just straight, you know, media, you know, mainstream media stuff, and the lies that they pump out is just crazy, man. So we appreciate, you know, the facts that you guys push out, and you know, you've actually inspired me to want to start my own little YouTube channel now, but I'm gonna gear mine more towards spirituality. I am a Christian, and I believe that there's enough of ABLs out there pumping out the news. So my platform would be more geared towards, you know, what do we do, looking for solutions, and not taking away from your channel at all, man. But, you know, I think we're at a point now where people need to start acting, and it's good to stay informed with the news and what's going on. But the activism part is where I'm at right now, and I have to just call you and say thank you for that, because I found a new motivation as far as my fellow man is concerned, and I want to really be able to help my brothers and sisters. And I don't mean that, you know, for black or minorities. I mean that for people who are logical thinkers. And your platform just is definitely something that you know, is positive. I just wanted to say thank you, sir.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Take care.
Hey, shout out to the caller. I love calls like that. I love being able to inspire people and get everybody motivated to kind of do their own thing and, of course, act. You know, definitely. That's fantastic to hear. So shout out to the caller. Love hearing calls like that. Let me get to the next call here. 256 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Your platform just
Hey, this is Billy from Alabama. I'm a longtime watcher. I can't say we agree on everything, but I just wanted to ask you how you reconcile voting for Trump, given your love of freedom of speech, when he's been supportive of military shutting down demonstrations of just that.
Well, I don't know what you mean. Like, what freedom of speech has he been? Like, I don't know what you mean. Like, give me some more. Like, go deeper into that.
Sure. So we've seen multiple instances in these protests of cops arresting reporters, media people, so that we can't see what they're doing in the protest, Trump has been very openly supportive of continuing to send in military to shut down these very peaceful demonstrations.
Wait. Okay, I got you. I got you. Let's pause for a minute. Now, you're kind of conflating two different things. Now, as far as cops arresting reporters, I don't know what's going on with that. I've not seen that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I don't know anything about that. I think what Trump is trying to do is to send in the feds, stop the violence. I mean, you got cities like Portland. That's kind of where he's focusing on, where you got extreme violence. You've had 77 nights of continued chaos. At a certain point, if every night there's always a bunch of violence, and the actual like physical damage to people has increased exponentially in a place like Portland. I think in 1 month, in June or July of this year, they had more homicides in the city in that 1 month than they had all of 2019. So Trump's trying to send in the federal people to calm down all that stuff, to protect the citizens and to prevent the country from being overtaken by lawless people. Because when you have lawless people, you're going to have just regular civilians totally helpless, or at least less safe than they were before. And the evidence is in the numbers I just quoted to you, when you have, an exponential increase in the homicides. That's not even including the rape, the robbery, and general assault and stuff like that, property theft, property damage and theft. So he's doing that for that reason, not to shut down any kind of peaceful protest. That's not even really the point. The point is to have just law and order. How you feel about that?
It seems like, it seems like we've been seeing federal police in places that aren't even, with people not even demonstrating so violently. Wouldn't you say it's the right of the people to protest a government that they don't support, or a system that they don't support?
Well, you had the right to peaceful assembly. That's in the Constitution. The right to peaceful assembly is right there. But that's the key word, peaceful. Now, where have the feds been where it's not like gotten out of control, where it's peaceful? Where have they been where it's peaceful?
I mean, we've had specific examples of places. Like, it seems like the media has a pretty big incentive to focus on these hotbeds of like violence and whatnot.
Okay, I understand that, but give me an example of where Trump has sent feds where it was peaceful.
Well, obviously, we've seen a mixture of violence and peaceful protests in a lot of places. Like, Minneapolis and Portland, we've had instances of violence there, but we've also had a lot of instances of genuinely peaceful and
okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but give me an example of where Trump has sent federal, agents to peaceful protests. Give me one example. Then we can work with that.
There are examples in Portland of just that.
But Portland has been experiencing violent chaos for 77 nights straight. That's not an example of it.
See, but what I'm saying though, is that in Portland, yes, there are violent protests, but there are also peaceful ones. But Trump has sent federal officers unilaterally to shut down all of the protests.
No. The federal agents.
Yes.
Well, I'm talking. You can't overtalk me, so you should stop for a moment. The feds are there because they always turn violent. They're not there just to shut down anybody that's, and really the federal agents are there to protect the federal building. They've not been sent to just, totally patrol the entire Portland. They have to be requested to do that. They've not been requested yet. All they can do right now for what Trump has been able to do is send down to protect the federal building. All they do is just stand in front of the building and protect it. So to say that they're there to break apart peaceful protests is not true. They're there to protect the federal building. They've not been sent yet to do anything else other than that. So what you're saying is not even true. It's false.
Well, sure, but the mayor of Portland himself said that he didn't want federal agents in his city.
He has no control over what they do with the federal building. That's federal building. That's not the state. That ain't the city. Now, he does have a say when you're talking. Wait. I'm not done. He does have a say when you're talking about the city in general, which is why they're not there. They're only there at the federal building where they have jurisdiction.
They're not only there at the federal.
Yes,
building.
they are. Where else are they at? Do you have any evidence of that? Where else have they been aside from the federal building?
Sure. I mean, they've been all around Portland, shutting down like the Moms for BLM thing. They shut down that, even though that was literally just like women, like representing BLM peacefully.
So were the Moms for BLM near the federal building or no?
I don't believe so.
Do you know? Is yes or no?
No.
You don't know, so you
I
don't.
mean,
So
if
wait,
you-
so if you don't know,
I just
no,
said no
wait.
I said no definitively. I didn't say I didn't know. I said no.
So you saying you're not really? So you could say right now for sure that they were not near the federal building, correct?
I can say with like 80, 90%.
So that means you don't know. I can say for 100%. I can say for 100% certain that the federal agents were sent to the federal building to protect it. I can say that with 100% certainty.
we can go back
Wait, sir. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. I can say with 100% certainty that the feds were sent to the federal, but I can say that for 100% sure. You're not sure where the moms for whatever were. You think that they were somewhere, but you don't know.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I guess at some other point I can, have more, like, be more percent certain for you if you want. I'd say 80 to 90% certain is pretty good. If you want to look into that on your own, that'd be great,
I mean, when you want to present an argument, just have all your facts straight. You can't come in with,
Sure.
maybe I do. Have all your facts straight. Like, if I don't know a thing with 100% certainty, I'll say I don't know. I might be kind of sure, but I just don't have the information to be able to make that kind of declaration. But
I wouldn't say 90% is kind of sure.
But you're not. Either you're sure or you're not. It is what it is. Either you're sure or you're not sure. That's it.
I'm being hyperbolic. I'd say that 90% is like
either you're sure or you're not sure.
No, it's on a spectrum. we can't know. I mean, if you want to like get into epistemology, you can never be 100% sure of anything, even things that you perceive directly.
My name is Anthony. Am I sure about that, or do I not know? Do I not know my own name?
I mean, from a philosophical perspective, you could argue that you're not sure.
Oh, so I don't know my own name. Okay. So I have documents that prove it. I got family members. And also, I'm a male, right? I'm a male. Can I not be sure about being a male?
I'm saying from a philosophical perspective, it could be argued that our senses aren't necessarily 100% like reliable. I'm just like just for the sake of argument. There's never 100%. But I appreciate the discussion.
Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good. Thank you for the call.
So, I hope your stream goes well. I'll see you later.
All right, now take care. All right, shout out to the caller. No, all right. Was I wrong about what the federal agents are? Because the federal agents in Portland, all they were doing was protecting the federal building. And Ted Wheeler was mad because he was saying that the federal agents were inflaming the tensions, and Trump was trying to get the agents to come in and be in Portland in general to calm down all the riots and the protests. And all the agents were doing is standing right there by the federal building, and then it'd be so-called protests right there. And then if they want to come and do stuff, they breaking that apart. That's really what it was. So here's my thing. Anybody that has an argument, anybody that wants to debate, have your facts straight, have your ducks in a row. And if you don't know something, don't have pride and be like, well, either you know or you don't know. I told the same thing about my dad a long time ago. My dad told me, he was like, look, boy, when you arguing with somebody, if you don't know something, don't be like, oh, I think, or maybe. No, either you know it or you don't. That's it. Ain't no in between. And if you have an in between, you're kind of sure, you can preface it by saying, I don't know, but I think. And that's fine. That's just at a certain point, your opinion and what you feel. That's not a fact. You can't pose your opinion or belief as fact. All right, let me get to the next call. 541, you're online. I'm speaking to.
Hey, ABL, this is Brandon.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Not much. That last caller that was calling, I live in Portland, and he is absolutely wrong. They have been at the courthouse, and they haven't even been coming out lately.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I've been reading for the past few weeks. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, his whole reasoning of his senses and just he's crazy. I have a question though. Are they going to be asking Biden and Harris about the, like if they get elected, or if Trump, is anybody going to be talking about what they'll do about BLM and Antifa, since they're such a a problem?
Well, they've not asked him much of anything, really. I was watching something today. They were at some kind of event together, Biden and Harris. And then after the event was over, the reporters were trying to ask some questions, and they got shooed away by Biden staffers.
I saw that.
So it's like they can't even ask him any questions. At a certain point, they have to be asking questions about certain things, but they're totally avoiding any questions.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And then one other thing is that in Portland, with these, stupid riots, not protests, these people are coming into the residential areas, and they're actually, you've talked about it, threatening, the residents, saying that basically like move out of your house, and attacking people, spray painting their front doors. That one lady with the swastika, she made a stupid decision, but what do you do? Do you just stay in your house and basically be held up in your own house? Or what rights, what can we do to the city that say, hey, come get off your butt and do something?
Yeah, you know what? At a certain point, you got to leave. I feel like one of the callers earlier was talking about, well, we got to just fight them the way they fight us. And at a certain point, I kind of agree. Like this whole thing with the riots and whatnot, they're out there, thousands upon thousands of people, elbow to elbow, no mask or whatever. If all of us just leave our homes and we're just going back, we're just doing whatever we want to do, what can anybody really do about that? If we just resume life as normal, what are they really going to do about that?
For sure. It's pathetic that we can't even go vote in person, show an ID, but we can have rioters sitting there burning things down left and right. Our world it's bizarro world.
It really is.
But I just, first time caller, I've been watching you for a long time, and I sure appreciate everything that you do, and keep up the good work, and thank you for taking my call.
I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good one.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. But yeah, at a certain point, it's like, hey, if we all out there and we all, are pretty much doing our thing, what are they really going to do? They can't really do much at all. Just like me, I don't really wear the mask. I look right at the sign on the door, says you got to wear a mask. I totally ignore it. What are they going to do? And if all of us do it, what can they do? Nothing. Let's get to the next call. All right, call you online. I'm speaking to 856.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, hi. This is Joe from New Jersey.
All right, man. What's going on? Everything's good.
Hey, I wanted to talk. Yeah. I wanted to talk to you about mail-in voting. So I've been seeing on Facebook what looks like a left-wing conspiracy theory that all of the blue mailboxes, that they're putting them on trucks and taking them away. And so it seems like people think that Donald Trump is the one doing that. Do you think that has any?
Nah, that's not even what's going on. People are just, again, this is the media stoking fear in people. The regular normies are just so scared. Every time they see something, they think of the absolute worst. They think, Trump's trying to kill people and everything else. What's going on is some boxes are being removed, but they're being replaced. I've seen that happen a lot. Right. If you have an old mailbox, and some of these mailboxes aren't necessarily as secure as they could be, because you had guys that were stealing stuff from inside the mailbox. So they're replacing old boxes with new boxes. But all they do is they may see, it may be a picture floating online of a box on the back of a truck, but they don't understand the whole thing about what's going on and all the security that is around a post office. Because if you're stealing mail, that's a federal offense. You can go to the penitentiary for that, for stealing mail, to the federal penitentiary. So they're just replacing old mailboxes, but people are just so crazy and scared, they don't even take the time to recognize what's going on.
And yeah, Dr. Fauci even said the other day that there's no reason why people can't vote in person.
Yeah.
So what's the problem? Why do people keep pushing mail-in voting if Dr. Fauci says it's okay?
Because they keep pushing that because a lot of the media are saying that's what should happen. You know, Fauci, he's kind of like being overruled by the rest of the media. That's kind of what's going on.
So I think Donald Trump, he could say, well, Dr. Fauci said it, we can do it, so that settles it.
Right. I mean, he could say that, but see, you still got the rest of mainstream media. They're pretty much they're pretty much interfering with the election themselves. Talking about election interference, you got the mainstream media doing it. ABC, CBS, NBC, etc. They're interfering with the election, not Trump or the Russian Federation.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day. How does who accuses the Russians for 2 years of colluding with an election, and then later claims that there's no evidence that mail-in voting leads to fraud?
Right. They spent millions of dollars, hundreds of man hours, 500 subpoenas, 3 years on Russian interference in the election. And then they say, oh, it's no evidence of any kind of voter fraud or anything. It's like, wait a minute, you had this whole big, investigation that lasted for years and took millions of dollars. So obviously there can be, in your mind at least, some voter, intimidation or something going on that shouldn't be going on.
Right. So that's all I wanted to say.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, take care.
Same to you. All right, so hold on. We got some news here. Let me see what's going on. Let me just make sure that I don't want to say the wrong thing. Okay, Robert Trump passed away, Trump's brother, at 72. Yep, this is on CNN, but it's everywhere else too. It's not just CNN. So yeah, very unfortunate. They were saying that he got rushed to the hospital recently, and he was doing really bad. And I didn't know how bad it was, what was going on, but he passed away. Let me see if I see anything about his cause of death. Now, he got admitted to the hospital. I think this was, I'm not sure when he got admitted, but Trump went to the hospital yesterday. He was sick for several months. So he had been sick for a long time, got rushed to the hospital. They're not saying exactly what happened or what the situation was. Okay. Yep. So that's really unfortunate. Rest in peace, Robert Trump. All righty. And thank you all for being here yet again. You guys are the best. I got time for a few more calls, and then I have to wrap it on up. 516 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing, ABL? It's Dennis from Long Island, New York.
Everything's great, man. How about yourself?
Excellent. I just want to tell you exactly what's on my mind, all right?
All righty.
Sorry, I just put a handful of cashews in my mouth. Now listen, this is what happened, all right? The money behind these clowns, like George Soros and them, they put the money into getting all these attorneys elected, these state attorneys. So now, anytime the Antifa or BLM or any of their street team, I'll call them, goes out and does any of this stuff, nobody gets charged or anything like that. But when we had our guys, like the Proud Boys or whoever, would go out there and fight these clowns, they were getting arrested, and that crap got shut down real quick. Because especially that one time in New York when they had that party or whatever it was, and the Antifa went after those guys, and they protected themselves, and I think half of them went to jail or something. But that's what we got to do, is we got to put our money where our mouth is and stop. We got to get the local politics involved. You got to vote for your attorney. You got to vote for the judges and people like that, because that's where they're going. Is they want to get the law on their side, and their law is crooked. I'm sorry to say.
Yes.
And how do you feel about that?
Now, I mean, I'm right there with you, man. I think he pretty much did anybody on the head. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, what do? Got to get out there and vote. You got to
Definitely.
vote for the right people.
And
But now with the worst part, well, go ahead.
No, I'm about to say, and do it all the time. Stay active. Don't just do it, come presidential time. Every time you can vote, just go out there and vote.
Special elections, every damn thing. And look, you got to vote Republican because that's the only way you got. Unless you have some kind of third party, because I'm telling you, the Democrat Party, to me, has turned into a corrupt criminal organization. That's how I see them anyway.
That's right. Absolutely.
We got to stop fooling around. And you know what? If you could spend the $5 or the $10 and you see somebody you like, send them the damn money because they need it.
Exactly. Absolutely.
All right, man. Thanks for letting me get my word in.
All right. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Take care, buddy.
All right. Shout out to the caller. You guys have been fantastic tonight. Let me get to the next call. All right, caller, who's on the line? 973.
Hi, Anthony?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Okay. I'm getting nervous. I think you're the greatest patriot there is. I just love your show and everything. All right, I'll be quick. I live in Paterson, New Jersey, and I'm very upset about our governor in New Jersey. He wants us to do the mail-in voting, which I think is going to be a nightmare. And I personally experienced the nonsense with that because we had an election in May with all mail-out voting, and I agree with absentee voting. I think that's scrutinized. But anyway, I live in an apartment building, and the mailman left two piles of mail on the ground with ballots and everything else.
Wait, hold on. Let's pause. Pause for a second. He left mail on the ground with ballots in it?
Yeah, we had an election in May, right? So on May 2nd, we got our mail, and my boyfriend went to get my mail, and he told me there's the mailman, I don't know if it's because they had so much, the mailman didn't know what he was doing, but anyway, he just left 2 piles of mail on the ground in our apartment building, and my boyfriend took pictures of it. And anyway, and he brought up the mail to me also.
Wow.
My mail. And I had, get this, I had 7 ballots in my box. One of them was mine. The rest were other names I never knew. So I gave my boyfriend, I'm an older woman, so my boyfriend didn't want me to get, hurt with this. I didn't want to go down to get my mail. He used to get my mail and all. Anyway, so I gave him, I took my ballot and I said, bring these ballots down, whatever. But anyway, he called, he took the pictures of the mail, and he called the post office, of course, the main office, I don't know where it was, not in Paterson, wherever, to report it, that the mailman left mail, and it was all different kinds of mail. It could have been Social Security stuff, who knows, but it was ballots, too, because I have the pictures. And then yesterday, I read in the Bergen Record, they had an article about the mishandling of ballots in Paterson, of course, and in another building in my complex, they had actual ballots on the floor. They took a picture, and they had and another article showed those ballots on the floor, and it was in another newspaper. But so I am a staunch conservative and a Trumper, so I'm very nervous about this situation because this was just, a councilman election, and therefore there's found to be fraud with the guys going for the election and all. But anyway, I'm just concerned about how they handle the ballots. You know what I mean? And so I just hope that the president can do something about it. And another thing is, I sent an email to the White House and sent I told them what happened, so I guess they had information from other people in Patterson about things that went on with the delivery of these ballots. So I don't know. What can we really do about it? That's what I would want to know,
Yeah, it's definitely a good question.
Yeah. So anyway, but I did my part as a citizen. I reported it, and I have the evidence, but also the pictures that my girlfriend had in her building with the ballots on the ground was in another newspaper, and they're using that for evidence. So I just pray that we have a fair election, because I'd rather go in person,
Absolutely.
Yes, and I also heard bad news. The president's brother died.
Yeah.
And of course, my phone, when I was listening to your show, yeah, he died. So sad.
Yeah, he was sick and he was 72 years old. Very sad.
Yeah, well, I'm 70.
Yeah.
So I'm a retired teacher, too, and I'm not a liberal. I'm a conservative.
Right.
But, and I also admire you for doing that story about little Cannon, and
yeah.
I checked his GoFundMe page. I think they raised like $600,000.
Wow.
For him. Yeah. I think it's around that. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure you helped the family indirectly. You didn't know it because I learned about it from you, and I donated for him to the little angel. So anyway, I just wanted to, tell you about my thoughts because I heard other callers saying about they're worried about this mail-in voting too,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, I love your show. I think you're the greatest, and I learn from you every day, so keep up the great work. Okay.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
I can't believe I got through. I've been trying all night. Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, now, same to you.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Shout out to the caller. My head's itching. But shout out to the caller. Great call. Okay. If you couldn't get on the show tonight, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. You got to blame the white man. But thank y'all for the calls. I got super chats on deck. I'm going to read those so y'all don't go nowhere. Hang tight for a minute. And if you have not liked the video yet, if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that for me right now. I greatly appreciate it. And shout out to everybody that's been watching, all the viewers, everybody that has joined the channel, everybody that has super chatted, PayPal, or whatever. If you're sharing, you're watching, you're liking, doing whatever, thank you for what you do. I appreciate you guys. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do it. And click that bell as well so you get notified whenever I go live and or post a new video. Hats are available in the description box. Flags are available in the description box. And please use those links to help me out a lot and they let everybody know what's going on. So super chats on deck. I'm going to read those and then wrap it on up and put a little bow on the top. Thank you to Jackie T for your donation. Thank you to Big Kahuna who says, can we talk about Trevor Noah? He's such a bigot. Also, besides Arthur, have you seen Paw Patrol getting backlash for chatting off the police dog? What message they're sending the kids? What did they kill the police dog? What happened? What is I don't know what that chatting CHADING. What does that mean? I don't know everything, but I've not heard about anything. I heard about Paw Patrol and they were mad at the police dog because it was a police dog. So they're saying they got to cancel Paw Patrol because, ACAB, including little dogs on TV, little cartoon dogs are bad too, I guess. Shout out to Holly T. Lightwork who says Kamala is Obama 2.0. They chose her to create domestic war and will blame Trump. Well, there you go. But that's not going to be the case because she's not going to be able to make it. Shout out to King JNNG for the thank you emoji. Come all the way from Canada. Thank you to You're So Cool 23 who says, loan out my... Oh, I already read that one, the Uncle Tom DVD. Thank you to UI Ball who says, defund BLM, AOC, Ilhan, Tlaib, etc. And Commie Cities, ABL 2024 100 US flag. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Lindsay Monty who says, thoughts on what will happen after the election. I fear communism if Biden, increased riots and more leftist antics if Trump. Worry either way. I feel like the leftist stuff will stop after Trump. back 2016. It was a similar type thing going on in 2016 with BLM. That was the last time they were really popular. But magically in 2017, they were gone. How did that happen? Maybe it's because there's a budget activated for elections to try to subvert them from George Soros and everybody else, and they get the money to BLM. But then after the election is over with, all the money goes away. That's kind of what's going on. In my humble opinion, I could be wrong. Thank you to Orestes Moja, who says, ABL, do you follow Q? No, I don't follow Q. I don't know much about it, but I respect a lot of the guys that are in it, guys and girls that are in it, but I just don't know a lot about it. Thank you to You're So Cool 23, who says, ABL, you're smart. Who overrides the city council? They overrode my mayor, enforced a mask mandate, and I've been vocal, but who do I go to now? The governor, if I'm not mistaken, because where I live, the governor is the one that said he gave the cities and the counties, or the counties specifically, I think, the power to have a mask mandate or not to have a mask mandate. It's up to them to be able to enforce it. So I believe it's the governor. You guys in the chat will know better than I do. Who has the power to enforce, or I guess de-enforce, a mask mandate? Thank you to Cyrus Cherry, who says, what's up? Did you hear that Alan Lichtman has predicted a Trump loss this year? I believe his system has predicted every presidential win, but only predicts expected popular vote. Your thoughts? I mean, he may say that, but I don't think it really means anything. You know, you could predict anything. You could be right a lot. You could be wrong too. You know, thank you to Eric Blomquist for the You Are Amazing super chat. Shout out to Black Conservative Patriot, my man, who says, I've been a quote, Tom, unquote, since I was 18, left the plantation, and I'm proud of it. Great analysis as always, Mr. Logan. Keep it up. Thank you for that, man. And you guys subscribe to Black Conservative Patriot right now if you've not done so already. Again, Black Conservative Patriot, subscribe right now. Shout out to the Polymogetic, who says, quote, I don't believe those women anymore, unquote, Kamala Harris, hashtag me too, hilarious. I remember that they were asking Kamala Harris back when all this Joe Biden allegation stuff was going on, all these women, hey, do you believe the women? Yes, I believe all women. Now, do you believe him now? He right here at the same table with you. Do you believe him now? How are you going to answer that? Thank you to Howdy Ho to you, who says, you see Trump boat parade in Florida today? I think I did see some of that. Yes. Shout out to the dude from You for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Daniel Nordine, who says, love ABL, Jericho, and Brandon. Shout out to those guys. Great guys. Shout out to Dave the Red, who says, I really like the live chats with Officer Tatum and others. You are all voices of light in the darkness. Keep on with the great work. And thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. We're going to do that every Thursday. Oh, great segue. I'll be back live again on this channel on Wednesday, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm live again the very next day, Thursday, on Brennan Tatum's channel from 8 p.m. Eastern to about 10 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm live here on this channel every single Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern or so. Alrighty. And for the first hour or so of my show, I do like a little monologue or soliloquy, whatever you want to call it. And then I get into calls, and then I read super chats at certain points in the show. At about 9 o'clock, I read, and then like 11 o'clock, I read. Okay. Shout out to Lisa Haas. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly with the keep it up emoji. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Lily for the T mug emoji. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Fenrir Halls, who says, just because you're the truth. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to the dude from You, who says, is this Antifa crap going to end a civil war? ABL? Well, it most certainly could, but I don't think that we'll go that far. And I think most people aren't really built for that. But anything is possible, but I don't think so. Thank you to New Way Bossa Nova for the good luck emoji with the cat with the megaphone. Thank you to Joe Da Silva for your donation. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to John316, who says, great name, by the way, Trump 2020 all day long. Thank you to Interracial Patriots, who says, ABL, BLM now coming into suburbs. They must not realize that homeowners won't read them their Miranda rights. Exactly. Thank you all for the chat. And shout out to them on YouTube, Interracial Patriots. Check them out. Yeah, but they don't want to come to like certain areas of the country. They're not going to play all that stuff. Thank you to A Apron, who says, zombie unlives matter. Thank you to Dallas fan 1997, who says, shout out to Taylor. Us fellow Utahns must stand up against BLM and the radical left in Salt Lake City. There you go. Thank you to UI Ball for the donation, who says, thank you, ABL. Also, so who's running your running mate in 2024? Okay, I think I read that one already. Thank you to Val Peterson, who says, great to see you on live. Keep up the good work. And thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you for your donation and your very kind words. Thank you to Marie Stark, who says, great content, perfect presentation. As always, you're great. Hey, I try to do my best. I do it for y'all. I couldn't do it without y'all. Thank you to Dr. Fi, who says, I'm irritated by BLM starting up in Canada and vandalizing monuments. We were one of the destinations of the Underground Railroad. Were we perfect? No. But in 1967, I think the U.S., Canada, and the UK were ahead of the curve. Exactly. You know, people judging Canada based on real old stuff. It's like, man, come on, man. We got to just get past all that stuff. We got to just move on and look at the great place we have today. Thank you to the Birth of Freedom. Vote Republican says, thank you, ABL, for spreading the truth. We need more like you. God bless. God bless you as well. Thank you to A. Apron, who says, dang, people need to stop drunk dialing your show. Thank you to Violet Stradovarius, who says, ABL, my man, just a shout out. I appreciate you for that. And that's a nice little flag you got right there in your main picture. Shout out to my man over at BHE Designs. If you want one of these flags that are right here behind me, go to BHE Designs. There's a specific link that I use in the description box. I thank y'all. When you support him through that link, you support me as well. So shout out to my man over at BHE Designs. Really good people, excellent customer service, and beautiful American-made, keyword American-made flags, handcrafted, beautiful wooden flags. You got to get them. BHEdesigns.com. Links right there over in the chat section and also always in the description box. Shout out to Jaja, who said Trump deserves a new prize, the No Bull Peace Prize. I like that. No Bull, no BULL Peace Prize. I like that one. Thank you to Dallas Fan 1997, who says, hey, ABL and everyone, what do you think of John Kasich? I was supportive of him in 2016 until he started dissing Trump. Do you think he is a Democrat disguised as a conservative? Let me know. I don't know what's going on with John Kasich. He's just one of these, swampers that needs to go ahead and get himself out the mud. It's time to get out the swamp. You're not Swamp Thing. Just go ahead and turn into a regular guy, Shout out to Deshaun the Beast, who says, girl I was talking to found my ideologies. I'm single. Hey, man, you know what? You dodged the bullet, and there's plenty more out there. You got to have that abundance mentality. You'll find what you want. Thank you to Fusion 99, who says, ABA, what happened to the shooter outside the White House? Did that story drop off the face of the planet, or am I missing something? Was he a disgruntled Bernie bro? I haven't even heard his name. I have no idea what's going on. That dude could be in Gitmo somewhere. I'm talking about big rocks, little rocks. I have no idea what's going on, but we should find out something, or I hope we need to find out something about what's going on with that guy. Okay, to get shot outside the White House, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Thank you to G Dubs, who says, shout out to you, ABL. Watch all your videos and streams. You ever watch Salty Cracker, The Salt Must Flow? I've not watched him because I like to kind of keep my political content down on YouTube because I don't want to take some of their good sayings and incorporate it into my sayings. But shout out to him. Shout out to Cyrus Cherry, who says, my phone froze. Your opinion on Alan Lichtman predicting the Trump loss this year? I think I answered that one. Thank you to C Red for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Hudson Jackson II, who says there's another purpose for the lockdowns to generate a low-wage labor force that will be put in new FEMA labor camps to make products for big corporations. I hope slavery doesn't make a comeback. Hey, it's rough out here, man, and it's like creeping in that direction. Hopefully we don't go down that road, though. Thank you to C Red for your donation. Thank you to Integer Overload, who says, ideas for you. 1, difference between stereotype, prejudice, and racism. Media does not know the difference. Very good. 2, anyone can be racist regardless of skin color. Big facts. Thank you to Jean-Louis Blackburn or Jean Louis Blackburn, English or Francophone, whatever. Said keep it up. Thank you for that. Thank you to James Elbert, who says, sir. There you go. You already know what it is. Talking about that guy earlier that, was talking about how Portland is peaceful or it has peaceful moments. Thank you to G Dubs, who says, shout out to Ivan Jr. for the entertainment tonight. Oh, it's all good. Shout out to that dude. Thank you to Cyrus Cherry, who says, ABL about to start a civil war in Portland. Thanks to the professionalism. Hey, it's all good. Thank you to Beth Marie Evans, who says the Fed should have been sent in sooner. Talking about Portland, absolutely. Because when you wait too long to nip things in the bud, you can't nip it in the bud no more. You got a full-grown tree. Ain't more nipping in the bud to be happening. Okay, let me see. Hold on 1 second. Shout out to Leo Mazzino, who says from New Jersey, they vote in person. From New Jersey, we'll vote in person. Trump, Pence 2020 all day long. Thank you to Twyna Hampton, who says Trey says here's a little something. Hey, shout out to Trey and shout out to you, Twyna. I appreciate y'all. And shout out to Charlene. Hey, and I got your email, Trey. I like the impersonation with the hat and the mug. I appreciate that, man. Thank you to Charlene Jutras, who says, if you don't vote, I don't want to hear you complaining. Exactly. If you don't vote, then it don't even really matter. You're not even really, if you can vote, if you have the right to vote, if you are a citizen, or you don't have a felony, if you can vote, then you should vote. Thank you to Jennifer Salas for your donation. Thank you to Zoe Inman, who says much love, so much for aloha from California. Hold on. So much aloha from California to you, ABL. You are a gent and a treasure, a true treasure. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to Deborah Palastri for your donation. Thank you to Steve Billows, who says, ABL, keep up the good fight. Trump 2020, don't stop doing this. Hey, I can't stop, won't stop. Thank you to Praying for the Rapture, who says, ABL, one of the most awesomest human beings I don't know. Stay amazing. Trump 2020. Thank you for your very kind words and your donation. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Doug Ripley for the emoji super chat. The mic drop, I appreciate that. Thank you to the Speaking in Civil War History, who says, do you donate any of your proceeds from super chats to any charities? Yes, I donate money to charities, and I also donate like clothes, food, whatever I can. You know, I'll be moving at a certain point, and I'm gonna donate furniture too. I try to donate whatever I can. Shout out to T. I'm not moving away from here. I'm just moving to a different house. Shout out to TRDA, who says, are there any leftist policies you would or do agree with? I can't think of any. Not that I know of. I can't. That's a good question, but I can't think of any right now. I might, maybe, but I don't know of any right now. Thank you to Nippon, who says, RIP Robert Trump. My condolences to Trump and his family all day long. Rest in peace, Robert Trump. Very sad situation. Robert Trump, Donald Trump's brother, died at age 72 after an illness. We don't know what the illness is, but he had been sick for a few months. All right. Thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. Shout out to the moderators doing a great job keeping everything in check. Thank you to True Helper, Zealand Zen, Zenitch's Cane Sword, Killer Sushi, Ansel, Bill from the Hills. I think Liza Jean I saw earlier, Ken Bone. Thank you for doing what you do. I couldn't do it without you guys. You guys are the best in the world. Ansel, I talked to earlier. Thank you for doing what you do, boss. And shout out to everybody for coming in. Again, I'll be live again this coming Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll be on Brandon Tatum's channel, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'll be back here at 8 p.m. Eastern Saturday next week. And I'll put, a 10-minute or so video on the channel about twice a day. That's what I aim for, but that's a lot that goes into these videos that you don't see behind the scenes. It might take me 2 hours to do one video for 10 minutes because I gotta edit, I gotta come up with sources, I gotta have my ducks in the row, make sure I don't say anything that's wrong, write the article, thumbnail tag, all that. It takes a minute. So, but hey, I love doing what I do. It's like I don't even work, and I do it for y'all. I do it for the truth. I do it because it's got to get done. Because if I don't do it, and we don't watch and we don't share, then who's going to know the real information? It's got to get put out there some kind of way. Even if you're watching the Fox or something like that, you might not get the real information. So that's pretty much all I got. And I'll be back, of course. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.